mediocre video, bro. That's me, bro. I'm coping. I'm hoping
I'm
that
coping too,
Nishio can
bro.
make it.
I'm so sorry. It's just that these NEL like topics have been like coming up, so it's like if I don't do the video like now, it's not gonna be good after. Yeah. You know what I think? They're gonna make 26 spots instead of 23. Because I actually kind of say
Where's
I'm
that coming
say
from?
like in 24 to 26. I don't have him in top 23, but I think he will survive. Yeah. Because in the real like World Cup real football like they have 26 spots and like what's his name, the fat Tanuki, he's like, all right, we're gonna make some changes. So I think one of them is that it's gonna be 26.
Mm, okay, okay. To be fair, like I didn't. Yeah, I thought it was the 24th spots. To be fair, I thought there was 24 spots, but
No,
23. Someone told me it's 23, but you're saying 26.
no, it's 23, but I think they're gonna change it later on.
Ah,
Cause I still think Nanase is gonna get eliminated. We're gonna get like a scene of him being depressed and shit, but he's gonna come
mm-hmm.
back. I don't see him like going away forever. He's gonna come back, but I want to see like it's been so long since we've had an emotional scene. Like, well, he's gonna still represent Japan, is what I mean. Like he's gonna get bait. It's gonna be like a bait.
Right. Okay.
We haven't
Right.
seen
I
an
get you. I
emotional
get you.
scene in so long since like Naohaya.
Hmm. All right, guys. We are live, so we've been live for about a couple of minutes now. Yeah. So I'm just gonna introduce.
I'm gonna
Um,
post on the Neo Egoist this Discord.
okay. Yes, please. And I'll just introduce us at bro. Why can't I speak? I'll just introduce us at this time. So what's good, everyone? I'm Raito 6, and here we are once again in the locker room to talk some post-match analysis after Blue Lock chapter 294 and Isagi doing some madness with what he said to Kaiser. We do some. He also did some breakdown of his goal and stuff. But yeah, here today I'm joined with. Oh, why does it say? I'm joined with Tuki and Lexio actually, but for some reason I've got the wrong. Yeah, I literally just noticed as well. Here you go. I'm here with
Woo!
Suki and Lexio. Say hi, guys.
What's good, everybody?
What's
Yo,
good? Lexio, good for you to join us after your
I'm
absence
back.
last week.
I was ill.
Um
I'm sorry.
yeah, man, no worries, no worries. But yeah, so obviously the officials haven't dropped just yet, I don't think. Um
Oh, for 294 they dropped.
have they dropped, yeah?
Yeah, I can send you a link to my website.
My
Yeah,
website doesn't have them yet.
the officials have dropped. But I've already pretty much read like a different translation. So
This is
I
Dragon
guess I
Manga.
can, yeah, I'll give us like a quick breakdown of Wagwan in this chapter.
Wang Wan.
And and obviously after the goal everyone goes and celebrates with Isagi. You know, you see Hiyori, Raichi, Kurona, and even Igaguri go and celebrate. You also see like an image of some of the PXG players looking a little bit, disheartened because they lost, and then you've got like an image of Tokimitsu and Nanase who are looking a little bit worried, guys. They're looking a
They know
little
they're
bit.
not making the top 23. Look at their
They
faces.
they they know that they may not survive this, bro. It's. They're looking a
Cause
little
Rin
bit worried.
sold.
Yeah. Oh, you think Rin sold?
My latest, no, not today's video, but like my biggest video is on that. Yeah, 12K views now.
Yeah, I watched it. Still, I watched
Rin
it.
sold a lot, bro.
Yeah. To be fair, I've got my opinions, and I do think like if I was a scout or a coach watching Rin's performance in this last match, yeah, it's just not his best.
I'm telling you what
But
he is.
yeah, after we see Tokimitsu and Nanase, um, we see Kaiser. Kaiser falls to his knees finally. Uh, after the whole on your knees blue lock scene in at the end of the anime season 2, we see Kaiser fall to his knees and he's just like thinking about the goal, thinking about like when Ness got the ball, instead of him reacting, he froze. But Isagi was able to react. Um, and Kaiser actually says that he thinks that he himself could have made the shot himself, but because he didn't react, because he didn't believe in Ness's evolution, he didn't react quick enough. But then he says, nah, the reason why he wasn't able to react was because playing football with Isagi was too much fucking fun. And you get this nice scene of him on his knees, like looking into his hands, uh, thinking about just how fun the match was. And funny enough, when I look at that image there, you know the one I'm talking about where Kaiser's like it's too it was too fun.
Yeah, I know what you.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, that image there, it reminds me of the one where Ness finds Kaiser choking himself in his room. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it's actually composed quite similarly. Those two panels, they're drawn quite similarly. Um, and obviously, like he said that the the what do you call it? The freedom made him weaker. So like how Kaiser thrives in restriction. He said that the freedom of playing with Isagi actually makes him weak. Um, and it's his fault. Then we get Isagi coming over, and Isagi's chatting like, "Oh, Kaiser is Ness special to you?" And then he was like, "To me, he's just another pawn on the field, another player on the field." And in that last moment, uh, you thought about your relationship with him, whereas Isagi, just thought of him as another chess piece, another piece to his puzzle. And then he said you couldn't turn yourself into an ultimate goal machine and give into emotion, and that's the last piece that determined which of us won and lost. Then he holds out his hand, right? And Kaiser's like, what do you want? And he says, our one goal contract is over. Thanks for that shit, my ultimate clown. And Kaiser paws his hand away, and then we get the scene where it's talking about Neo Egoist League final champions, and then Bastard Mutant. Um, Funny enough, we see a shot of Shidou in this moment. Um, he's looking, I don't know, he's got like a little bit of a smirk on his face. We got a shot of Rin, who for some reason still hasn't deactivated his Predator Eye, and then we get a little glimpse into the Blue Lock rankings, and then we get Rio and Nagi 33 minutes earlier. So that's basically the chapter. Um, for me, I quite like the chapter, the whole Isagi and Kaiser thing really surprised me. It really surprised me. I did not expect Isagi to say what he said to Kaiser. I don't know why he did that, uh, except for Isagi just being that guy. Um, and Kaiser, and to be fair, I actually like what it sets up in the future because I was worried that Kaiser and Isagi will be in too much of good terms for their rivalry to actually seem anything significant. But with this, I think Kaiser's gonna go back to the drawing board and actually step up again to try and challenge Isagi. What do you guys think? I've been rambling for a while.
I'll let Lexio go first.
Honestly, I have no sort of rebuttals or qualms with what you say. This chapter hasn't really given me any new thoughts related to anything.
Okay. Well, you're not even surprised about Isagi and Kaiser. Did you always think they'd go back to rivalry?
Yeah, Isagi said this is a one-time deal, and look at the way Isagi has behaved. He teamed up with Barou like earlier in the series in second selection, and then immediately started mocking him.
Okay.
It's always been that's me.
All right. Yeah, go on. It's always been.
It's always been a situation of sort of
No way,
how do
bro.
I describe it?
Let the title with
It's
that.
always been Isagi will team up with someone to get the benefits he needs, and then once he's done it, if they're not someone he cares for in a way, then he
What?
just goes back to treating them like shit. Like he cares for Botcheret, he cares for Chigiri. He
Hmm.
doesn't care for Kaiser. He doesn't care for Barrow.
Oh, okay, okay. I get what you mean now.
Mm, yeah. Okay.
But yeah, he's kind of like
Uh,
sly. You know, if you're not useful,
yeah. Go
fuck
on.
off. No, you keep. Wait, Lexio, you still got more?
That's all I really have to say.
I wanna dive straight into Reo and Nagi. Honestly, that panel it actually tells a lot more than most people understand. If you look at
Mm-hmm.
Nagi, he has no fire in those eyes right now. So it means Manshine is struggling right now in this match.
Yeah.
They are Rayo is sweating bad. He's having that face. It's like Nagi, we gotta do something. We're about to be clapped. So yeah, I think we could potentially get a score of 2-1. But the problem
Mm,
is, it has to be for Barcher to have to lead, and then Manchester has to come back from 2-1 to win. But the problem is, they can't do that in one chapter because the title is for the next chapter is called Number One, and if that refers to Isagi in any way, you know they're cramping this match into like 1.5 chapters at best. So
I
that's
can I
one and a half. I think he's gonna be over by the end of the chapter.
yeah.
yeah, I
Can I make
know.
a rebuttal?
I'm just saying at best.
Can I make a
Okay.
rebuttal real quick?
Yeah.
If you I think you've misinterpreted the chapter from how I have. When you actually look at it, that final panel, Reo's determined of like, yeah, we're doing this. Nagi, obviously, he doesn't have fire in his eyes, but if you look at his eyes, there's still something there. You can see that he's actively been sweating, so he's been trying in this game. I don't think that's a case of. I think the reason there isn't fire is because he's not being challenged. I think
Ooh. So,
right
but
now
but
the game is
but
2-1 and he's about to make the final goal. If Barcher has even
oh,
scored, I think it's an easy blowout for Thingy right now, which is why Nagi's
really?
been sweating because he's been putting effort in, and because of Nagi putting effort in, that's the reason Barcher haven't been able to keep up.
So
Well,
so
Because Nagi
Kuru
did say he was going to put effort into this match, didn't he?
yeah, he did, and he's
You
been
can
putting
tell
it.
by the way you can tell by the way he's sweating, and also if you look at his eyes, his eyes don't normally look like that. There's lines streaking through them and stuff. That's usually like a precursor to someone about to like fucking do something.
Yeah, I can feel that. I just
So
feel
I
like
feel
it's
like it's
not gonna
more
be
likely.
a three to
Oh, sorry.
one match like I assumed. That's what I'm trying to get at. Manshine's still like dominating because I was telling the group chat that yeah, if this ended 33 minutes ago, yeah, they just definitely destroyed them. But now I'm kind of like maybe it was closer than I thought. I don't know. Maybe it's three to
mm,
two. but it's still I could still see you right with 3-1.
So
I don't see it being 3-1. I don't see. No, Nagi. Someone's just put in chat. They don't think Nagi will get a hat trick. No, Chigiri
Oh,
has
he's
definitely
fast.
scored at least one goal.
Chigiri scoring now.
Chigiri hasn't scored one goal. That's bullshit, in my opinion. But
Who's stopping
I
Chigiri?
don't see anyone besides, especially if Reo's actually going 100% like he's meant to be, and he's actually starting to learn more about his Metavision. I don't think anyone on Barcher besides Bachara is going to have much chance to get past him. Barcher's team isn't that good. Otoya maybe, but even then, I don't really think so.
okay,
Um,
right. So
I would like to respond to that what you've just pulled up, Raito. At
what this
least
one?
my opinion on the thing you've just pulled up. Why do people think Barcher gets slammed by Manshine?
Hmm.
Look at how many key players we have on both teams. We've got Barchera on Barcher, and we've got Chigiri, Reo, and
Nagi.
Nagi all on
We have Nishioka and
Manshine.
Hiragi too.
You
We have
also
like
have
a list of
characters who have been called out quite a lot on Manshine, such as
Nah, Barca winning, bro. Y'all
Hiragi
just do this
and
shit.
Nishioka. Whereas over with Barcher, besides Barcher,
Hmm.
all they've really got is the U20 defenders and Otoya. Not really
Okay.
anything amazing. Sorry, I'll let you speak now.
Yeah, no worries. Leo, we can actually hear you. Well, when you just talked just now, we heard you. Um, so
Yeah, I'm
I
finally
hope.
hearing y'all for the first time in a while. I literally just signed into the
Yeah,
website. Yeah. Whatever you did use, I literally signed in and it started working again.
brilliant. Okay, we can hear you. Welcome to the stream, Leo. Good to have you. I think Aero should be coming in a little bit.
Can
Um,
I make a statement on a fraudulent comment I've just seen?
wait. Let's first address the first thing that we was talking about, which is uh, it was this one, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it's
Uh,
someone's reply to my statement that I need to address.
okay. Which comment is it?
It's the latest one. It says Otoya is better than both Nagi and Reo
Uh,
currently.
this one.
Otoya is not and will never be better than Reo. Since Reo
Well,
has
give
gained
give a reason.
access,
Give. You've got to give a reason why you can't
I'm
give.
about to explain. I'm about to explain the reasoning.
Okay. Okay.
Um, since gaining access, not even just gaining access to Metavision, but since gaining his chameleon, Reo consistently has put in more feats than Otoya.
Hmm.
You've got to bear in mind as well that Reo, the only reason he's been going down is because he's been trying to make sure Nagi can also survive with him. If Reo was if Reo hadn't went back to teaming up with Nagi, the likelihood is Reo would still have a higher value than Otoya because him and Chigiri would have still been doing very well in other matches. And likely could have even beat Ubers.
Hmm. Okay.
Then you've got
The only reason
Nagi, who
Otoya
is
has a better
not
PA
worse
is
than
because of
Otoya.
Filipino.
Wait. Wait.
That's
Let
exactly the
Suki
point.
go first. Suki, go. What was you
Lupino is
saying?
the reason why Bachira and Otoya even scored in the PXG game. And then Otoya has to like if you see the game against Bastard, like Otoya is basically just following the flow. It's not like it's hard to really follow Bachira's flow. He could have had Lara. What's the guy's name? Lara? Assist him, and it would have been fine. Like Rail's only doing bad because Nagi's
His name's Lala though.
how am I echoing?
Who's Lara? Oh
He's the
no,
guy
it was
from
cause
the
Leo.
The dude that gave that one touch pass to Otoya, then Otoya finished it and
Ah,
gave it to
right.
Bartra.
Okay. Yeah, go on, Suki.
No, I'm done.
Ah, okay.
Sounds like Arrow, son of a gun. It is. I knew it.
honestly
Yeah.
stating that Otoya is currently better than Nagi and Reo. I can't ever get behind that statement.
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree with you
quick.
on that. I have a follow question that branches off that.
Bro, who got caption in the background, bro?
Who's echoing? Leo,
It's all echoing from
Yo,
Leo.
you're making us echo.
dog, you gotta fix your stuff, man.
Leo!
I'm about to shoot you. Shut up.
Or Leo, do you have headphones or something? Because that will stop the echo. In fact, I'm pretty sure there's an echo setting in the program. If you go
Probably.
into settings.
5
I
pound
don't
or
know.
more.
Sorry, I'm late. I was busy getting a sandwich, so I'm
Yeah,
gonna
no
be
worries,
eating
bro.
while I'm here.
What fat fuckery is this? I'm kidding.
What'd you call me?
I'm joking, bro. I'm joking,
Yeah,
bro.
you got no headphones, bro. You're
Yeah,
gonna have to deal with this.
what was the thing you wanted to say, Arrow, about what we were saying?
Oh, sorry. Follow-up question. Who do you think is a better post player? Kurona or Otoya?
Konigami.
Corona.
Bro, say Kunigami. That's actually
I would say Kurona.
post player. And what in passing or like the whole thing?
Post player being someone that you can quickly relay a pass to and then get the ball back to you.
Yeah, the
Leo, I
motherfucker's not
swear to
busy
God.
breakdancing. Bro, fight. What you want? Square up, bro. What you want? We got problems, bro. We got problems. We can do it right now.
Your shit's
Why are you
echoing.
echoing more? Leo, go into the settings cog, go into audio, and then there should be a button that says echo cancellation. Click that, and maybe it's gonna help.
I think it's actually very close between the two. The
Suki, you
thing
getting
is,
arrested?
oh, sorry.
Someone there's sirens somewhere.
You're being
That's-
arrested on the crime of bad takes.
It's better now? No?
I don't even
Yes,
because of this.
There we go.
Leo, much better.
Ariel, I am going to beat your ass. I swear to God.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. 18 months to get a microphone off Amazon. You can't be talking.
You want to square up? Let's go. I'll come to Jamaica. Beat the bomb clutch and yeah. Chick the boom, boom, boom.
Oh wait,
What?
wait. If he's come back. He's gonna have to fucking try and find me. He'll have to get a plane ticket to Florida, but it might take him 6 years because
Raito,
live-
what happened last week when I wasn't here? Has the locker room just turned into like a boxing ring?
Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
It
Yeah.
was the last 2 weeks have been a
Yes,
carousel.
sir. We about to square up. Who won it?
We mentioned carousel one time and the whole stream goes to hell for the past
No.
2 weeks.
I was about to leave. We mentioned Karasu, and I stayed for an extra 45 minutes.
Trust me, we stayed for another
I saw that boy
20
Ariel got
minutes.
up. What?
I stayed for 45
We
minutes.
stayed for another 20 minutes for
No, it was 45 minutes. I
was
was gonna get
40.
off at 7. We stayed till 7:45.
Was it that long?
Yeah.
You do not you do know like halfway through that, right? My headphones messed up. And so I was trying to sort it out the whole time and my mic wasn't on at that time. So like I was saying stuff, but I
What
don't
mic?
think you guys were hearing me.
What
I think we
Mike?
were. I'm not sure.
What Mike?
What do you mean what mic?
What Mike?
This is Raito, not Leo, dumbass.
No,
shoot.
no,
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
That message
I
in
thought that
chat.
was Leo.
No,
I'm so sorry, Raito. I'm
that
so
is one of
sorry.
the worst opinions I've ever seen.
Raito,
Oh my
I'm
god, get it up here. Pull that up
But
here.
this
Pull
one?
that up
This
here.
one?
Pull that up
No.
here. That is. Can I take this? Shigiri's my favorite character. Can I start with this one?
Yes, go Arrow, go.
You bum mother. No. In all honesty,
Oh, he about to work off.
I think the thing with Otoya, right, is that he's really good at being fast in a moment you aren't expecting him. Like, if you are not aware of your surroundings and Otoya catches you off guard, the chances of you catching up are very slim. That's what Otoya benefits for. But Chigiri? No. No. Otoya as a winger doesn't even play as a winger for a goal scorer. He's simply a winger as a post player. He plays like Kurona does in a winger position. I don't think that makes him a good winger. A good winger is someone who's fast, good at passing, and can score goals really good. Otoya has scored a single goal, and it was only because of the master. Otoya can do very short passes, and he's decently fast, but that's about all he can do. Chigiri can do that and more.
Otoya is a great winger under the circumstances, not a starting winger. He would be someone you want to sub on for like some very clutch moments.
Kurbis,
Coach.
Otoya scored a goal. Cool. He only did it because of the master. Chigiri scored 2.
I was
Your
gonna say
point?
Chigiri solo scored goals.
And it took all of Ubers to make sure he didn't score. It took a whole fucking tribe.
Yeah.
Legitimately.
What evidence says that Otoya is better than Chigiri as a winger? You keep saying he's miles better
Chigiri's
at
a fun boy.
passing.
Otoya
How?
straight
With
timber.
what feats
He's
shows
my
Otoya is
son.
better at passing? Chigiri is a literal natural crosser. He was used as a crosser in the U20 game, and
Yeah, he
even
was,
as a
yeah.
winger now, he's still used as a sub crosser. He's used as a goal scorer, but he's also used as a crosser. In fact, the 44 Panther snipe is a pass. It's literally a bullet pass.
a pass into the top corner.
Yeah, it's a
But
bullet pass.
if
So you're trying to say he's
if
better
if
at passing?
if we're talking about the better player, for me, obviously it's got to be Chigiri. If you're talking about the best support, a better support, I think the only argument you can have with Otoya is the fact that he's supporting Bachira. But
Yeah.
how much is that because he is the only other competent
Oh,
player on that team?
by the way, Kurbis, chapter 194, Chigiri passes to Chris Prince when he does his knuckleball. He does still pass. He also has passed to Agi. I think he passed to Agi
Bro,
in
y'all
chapter
mic are
196.
static right now. I don't know why.
And then he also did the deflection pass that was sent to was it Nagi? Chigiri's pass to Nagi in 178. When does
No, it was
Isagi-
171. Sorry, I'm pulling up the chapter. It was 198. He passes to Agi because Kurona pressures him,
No,
and
not
when
that one.
Kaiser pressured him, he also no. But
I want to state something. Kurbis earlier in the stream brought up the fact that Barcher has better NEL values than Manshine. If that is the logic he is using to determine which team is better, then the logic also applies that Chigiri has a 13 million lead against Otoya right now.
yeah.
Meaning, by your own
So
logic, Kurbis, Chigiri's better.
Yeah, but
Yoki?
just because he
yo,
doesn't pass means nothing. Chigiri is faster. He's better at goal scoring. He's better at defending. He's better at
You
offense.
gotta look at it.
Just because Otoya you say is better at passing, which he's not, doesn't make Otoya better.
I would give Otoya
Kaiser's better at
one.
shooting than anyone else in BLUELOCK. I'm saying that, and that's a fact. The Kaiser impact is the best shooting style we've ever seen. But just because he has a better shot, doesn't mean he's better than Lorenzo at defense. Like Aiku has a higher defense score. That doesn't make him better than Kaiser. Like, that doesn't make sense. Also, Yukimiya versus
some
Chigiri is not a better debate. Chigiri is still by far. Chigiri, I put up there. Reen is in BLUELOCK in terms of goal scorers and strikers. Reen's number 1, Bado's number 2, Chigiri's number 3.
Ooh, really?
Who would you put above him?
Wow.
I do
You
not
put
want to
him
hear that
Above who?
tongue
Sorry.
licking
Say that
monster
again.
ever again.
Leo. Who do you think is a better goal scorer than Chigiri?
Aside from Bado and Reen, which I just said.
Yeah, aside from Baron
Alright, Isagi.
Fuck no.
Isagi.
I wouldn't say that.
Uh,
I think the issue with Isagi is that he's very dependent. At least in terms of like getting. No, okay, he's not really dependent, but his shooting is dependent. He needs a direct shot, and requiring he needs a pass. Sure, it doesn't need to be a
What would
perfect
you
pass,
rather?
but he still
Hey, what
needs a
would you
pass.
rather? Would you rather ACL tier or someone that just doesn't have any injuries?
I'd rather someone who can
Doesn't
blitz the whole
matter
damn
because
team.
at the current point of
that
the
doesn't
story,
matter at this
Chigiri
point.
has not torn his ACL. That doesn't mean anything.
Mhm.
Chigiri is not where we are right now. Chigiri has not torn his ACL again, but he is still the fastest character in the BLUELOCK project. That means nothing.
Imagine how fast he is in bed, bro.
Yeah, I mean,
Alright,
for
GG's, I'm
me,
leaving
Isagi
the
scored
call.
double the
Alright, I
goals
got it.
than
in
I'm
Kaiser.
terms
going.
I'm
I'm
not
leaving the
saying
call.
Isagi's
in
a bad.
terms of
I put Isagi at 4. I put Isagi below Chigiri. Like it's not
but
it's not saying
where
Chigiri's
where
bad, but like you have
then
Kurona and Hiyori and Yukimiya and Raichi all supporting Isagi. Chigiri's
but then
self-reliant.
Yeah.
where would you put
When you look at
Nagi
it,
and Shidou? Because
I
those guys
put
bag.
I would put Nagi and Shidou below Isagi. Maybe you could make an argument for Nagi
Nagi
to be
5,
above
Shido
Isagi.
4. Nagi 5, Shido 6, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm with that. Shidou's also above
Shido
Chigiri.
relies
Okay,
on
take out
tactics.
Charles. He's not making top 10.
No. 100%. Shidou does not. Shidou is required for passes.
I would
He
put
requires a
Yuki
good
over
passer.
Shidou, for real.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
honestly, what do you
Su-
consider a goal scorer? Do you just consider anyone who's gone out and scored goals? Because Bachata is technically a goal scorer then.
Yeah, true.
His shooting isn't very
Yeah.
good. Like his B shot's
It-
just like a chip with the heel of his foot.
Hmm.
Or
No,
it's a
so
toe poke.
I
It's
would,
either a heel chip or a
but
toe poke. But even then, it's not very
for me, a goal
strong.
scorer is for me the goal scorer is just someone that can get the ball in the back of the net, however it gets there.
So would you say
So
Hiyori's one since he tried to score a goal in Ubers?
no, because I've not seen Hiyori score a goal.
So is it someone who
So
attempts to score or someone who successfully
no,
scores is the question.
yeah, successfully scores, not attempts.
And it
They
doesn't have to
have
be
to
in the
be able
current
to
game.
get
It's
the
just
ball.
overall has in
Yeah,
current standing of the series has
In the NEL.
current Nagi does not require a passer. Well, here's the
No.
thing. He doesn't require one as heavily as Shidou requires one because we've seen Nagi dribble and literally
Yeah, I was
second
gonna
selection
say.
statement. I don't need anybody to feed me passes when he's beating Bato in a
Nagi
1v1.
No, current Nagi does not require a passer because the only reason he does is because he was unmotivated prior to this game. In this game where he is motivated, he could likely make a goal without needing a passer. Whereas Shio is a
Also,
character who is sort of like he waits at the
I'm
goal. He
not
doesn't
fucking
really,
surprised if he does another
unless he needs to
5 stage per
defend,
fight.
he just sort of waits to get a pass.
by the way, can we say Uber's versus Manshine game when we saw it? Agi had sent a pass to Nagi, yes, but Nagi had dribbled past Nico and Aryu, and then it took Lorenzo coming to pressure him, where he then still got a shot off long after Agi had passed to him, which then it took IQ to come in. It took 4 people to stop Nagi. 2 being
Yeah,
the
I
best
wouldn't say
defenders in
he
the series.
dribbled past Aiko and Aru, Nico and Aru. I thought he just chipped
I'll
the ball
pull
over
I'll
them
pull
and
up the
went
panel.
around.
It was 2:45.
That's not
yeah.
dribbling though.
Even
Yes, it
yeah,
is.
That's
but
not
that's still
dribbling, gang.
dribbling. That's still
That's
Yeah,
dribbling.
so
That's
as
dribbling.
long as he gets
Controlling the
past them,
ball
that's
by
dribbling.
yourself.
Then
The ball
so
doesn't have to
even
be
if he
on the
just put it
ground.
over the ball, yeah. Even the
Ball doesn't
ball
have to be.
over the top of them,
He's
that's
still
still
getting through
dribbling
the
as long as
defense
he
by
gets the
himself.
ball at the
That's
end
the
of it.
point.
Yeah. Leo, look at the server. Look at the server. Go to the general chat. I'll send you the exact image right here. He
Oh,
literally.
nigga, I can't leave right now, bro. I can't leave. My shit about to crash. You better relax. Don't say
Well,
that for later.
2:45. Nagi
Suki,
chips the ball over Nico and runs past Audio and Nico, and then Lorenzo comes in to stop him. He then still
2:45
gets a
now?
shot off. That's still dribbling.
Yeah,
one sec, guys.
the
2:45.
difference is we've never
One sec,
seen.
one sec.
We've
Next,
seen them both success. Oh, go on.
yeah, just one sec. Suki, I don't know if you know. Right now, you're on mute. So we're not hearing you. You need to unmute yourself.
No, he's not. He's not muted.
I'm not muted. Wait.
It's showing us on mute right now.
No.
On my
Oh,
I'm on
GG's,
mute?
bro.
It's fine for me.
It went to Suki next.
yeah,
In
I'm,
BLUELOCK, it
I,
doesn't
That's
matter
what I
how
was
close
saying.
you get. What matters is if you score or not. Okay, but if you take out, let's say I take out Charles and I take out Reo, Nagi has a higher chance of scoring a goal than Shidou does.
Yeah. The difference is we're not arguing that it matters that what we're arguing is the feat is they both score goals really well off of passes, and one of us has shown the feat of being able to dribble past defenses, and the other has not shown a feat of dribbling past a defense.
That's not objectively wrong though. If you take out Charles, how many goals is Shidou scoring?
He
One.
can still maybe against
Maybe
Barcha,
one.
but that's
Maybe one.
Just
No,
against
well, no, in the Ubers match he scored one and never scored another. Like he keep winning up. Like Charles was like not interested in him until
Yeah, but
like
Charles
assistant
was even
came in.
still there. Like we don't have evidence. Oh, okay. We don't have any evidence to say that he scored without Charles. And when we look at the dependency of Shidou, we can say he required Charles.
But the weirdest thing is,
Yeah.
if Charles was already there, why would he score? Why would he get serious against Barcha?
Can you all hear me
Is
now?
he just saying, "Oh,
Well, it's
their
the same thing
defense is
about
trash, I can
Lorenzo.
just-"
Yeah, I can
Like
hear
if
you.
Lorenzo was there, why wasn't he on defense? Like there are holes, but we have to
And-
theorize and speculate based off of the evidence. No, Shidou's not scoring. You can't say narratively. Show me a recent feat that gives evidence as to how Shidou could score without the use of Charles. All of Shidou's goals are direct shots.
Yeah,
No, actually no.
Shidou
There's one
relies
goal that
on a
isn't.
passer.
The only one that isn't is when Isagi went to pass to Rain, Chigiri blocked it, Shidou then chipped the ball up and then hit it with his back heel. That is the only
Mm-hmm.
time Shidou has not hit a direct shot, and even then, that's a half volley.
Mm-hmm.
So
Even the not Igagay, what's it called? Rails interception is a half volley too.
like
Mm-hmm.
the whole thing is
That's
that
wrong, Curvis.
Do you think Lorenzo was marking Charles in the Ubers game?
no, he's not. Kurbis, what evidence do you have to say that Shidou is more likely to score without Charles? Every time we see Shidou, he's reliant on a passer because his style requires direct shooting. Every time with Sai and with Charles, we've seen every time he's involved, it needs to be a direct shot. That's why Kunigami touches the ball first, because he knows that if Shidou touches it, it's going to be a shot towards the net.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Yoki makes a good point. Shido can't play without a chemical reaction. He needs a good passer
Okay.
with.
You're saying read your evidence. You haven't provided any evidence. You just said Shidou is objectively more likely to score. What evidence do you have to prove that?
He said without
Said
Reo,
read his
Nagi.
messages.
Yeah, he says Nagi literally required Reo for his only goal. Without Reo,
Okay,
he guaranteed goes
U20
0
game.
goals.
U20 game jumping turn trap shot.
That's true. Oh, good shout. A good shout. That's
That was
true.
more like a
How
loose
many
ball instead of a
goals
pass.
have
But
we?
anyway,
My clarity is how many goals have we seen Shido actually get without assists ever?
Plus,
Well, to
even
be fair,
Every
I'm
single
pretty sure
one.
you're gonna get an assist in any situation. Like it's gonna be the last person who touches the ball as an assist. I don't
I
know
know,
what the
but
time is.
I mean with without any like major direct plays leading to him getting the goal. How
Also,
okay,
many do we know of Shido getting?
I
we're talking everything,
I
bro.
I think
The
okay.
only
I think if you
the
count an
only
indirect assist,
off-screen
I
ones
think it's
that
that
we
first
have
one
no
with Isagi.
confirmation.
I think it's the Isagi one. I'm pretty sure it's the Isagi one because every other time Isagi passed to him, he did a rotating banana shot. We don't know how many. We don't know what happened in the rest of the third selection games. With the U20 game, it was all direct shots from Sai. And then in the NEL, the only one we know of, all of the ones that were from Charles were a direct shot that we've seen on panel him scoring. Like they were all like direct shot assisted. Also, when you're talking pre-NEL and whenever you're doing any kind of debate like this, you have to when you can reference past events, but only to a certain extent where the drastic improvement of the character isn't where there's no drastic improvement to the character. So,
Mm.
like, if I'm gonna apply evidence to Shidou, I cannot use any third selection evidence to argue any points about current Shidou. Just like I can't use any first selection feats to argue about current Bado because the players have drastically improved in that time. Now, I say this, Shidou hasn't drastically improved, right? But the competition that he's playing against has improved. So when I can say that Shidou has not improved since the third selection, yet you can't use third selection feats, that's because Shidou is not playing against third selection players anymore where his current level really has an impact.
Okay.
Nagi has went through a lot more improvements than Shido. And we know that Nagi back in U20 could do the solo goals, which Shido never really did in the U20 game.
Yeah.
Meaning, by that logic, Nagi can still do them better than Shido.
Yes, you could say the same for the U20 match, but in the U20 match, we saw Shidou play very dependently. Nagi did not. Nagi wasn't dependent in the sense of goal scoring because he only scored one goal, and then he went to assisting and helping the team and Isagi.
He
didn't
never
go out
even
to
had a
score.
shot after that.
Yeah, after that, I don't think he had a single opening to shoot.
No.
So it's not like he tried to score goals. Fucking hell. Sugi, mute your mic real quick.
oh my god, bro, what airbender is that?
Here's
It's
something I'm gonna say. Look at
yeah.
how easy
Hey,
it
Sugi, do
has
you have
been
background
for
noise
players
reduction
to
on?
lock down.
I'm trying to. It won't let me mute myself.
Do you have background noise
really?
reduction on?
Wait, how do
Go
I
to
find that?
audio. Go to audio. The same setting for echo cancellation. Turn on background noise reduction. It should take away the.
It says it's on.
Oh, then your
Can I
shit's just
go
loud as
on
hell.
with my point now?
Yeah, sorry.
Are
Go ahead.
you?
We have seen Shido actively get completely locked down with relative ease, whereas we've never seen Nagi get locked down that much. And my evidence is, if they were really capable of locking down Nagi in the Ubers game, he wouldn't have dribbled past two of their defenders. Whereas Shidou did get completely locked out of being able to score a goal after he scored that first one.
And Nagi has like
Ugami
physical press to where
shut
he
him
can
down.
Well, by himself in a 1v1, it's completely locked down. If Zantetsu did not intervene, Shidou would have maintained him being on lockdown.
Exactly. So once
Like,
again, that requires another player to assist him. What we're getting at is Nagi has dribbled past people without. Narrative doesn't tell us Shidou is top 4. Where are you getting
narrative
that
tells
Shidou
you Shidou's top 4 in the sense of the overall NEO score, which we know that NEO score values goals over anything else. Gagamaru should be rated way higher than he is because he's the best goalkeeper in the series, but he's rated at the bottom because the game values goals, right? Shidou has scored goals because of Charles. If Charles was not in the NEL and he was not on Paris X Gen, Shidou would barely be passing Otoya right now.
Yeah,
You
I
also have to
agree.
keep in
Exactly.
mind
Charles
that
favors
Charles
Shidou
concedes
over Rin.
every time,
That's
bro.
the
That's
point,
why
is that he
Shidou has
favors
such
him.
easy goals.
That's why he has such easy goals and why he's top 4, because Charles favors Shidou over Rin. But yet somehow Rin, without the dependence of Charles, has made it into the top of the top of the leaderboard. I think
He's
Shidou's in
got
the
a
top
hat-trick,
10
for
though.
fuck's sake.
Shidou's in the top 10. He's just at the bottom of the top 10.
No, he's at number 4 right now in the NEL values. But my follow-up point is, can anyone here genuinely say they believe that Shidou will not be outclassed by Barou, Isagi, Rin, and Nagi in this next valuation? Because I think those are definitively going to be the top 4. I think Barou's going to be the lowest of the top 4 because he won't get a value increase.
Yeah, like I don't think he's passing
Nagi's
Botto.
I think Nagi's gonna get to like 155. I think
Yeah,
Rin is
No,
probably gonna get to like 220.
I think 250 for Rin.
that's high for Nagi, is it not?
Excuse me, what the hell did you say for
That is
Nagi?
high for Nagi.
Wait,
That
what
is
did you
Nagi,
say?
very high for
Nagi ain't
Nagi.
passing Botto. You think Nagi's surpassing Botto?
Nagi's
I
gonna make
think
it
there
to
is
fifth.
a.
Fourth is
I think there is more
Oh, I'm done.
likely, in my opinion, that Nagi surpasses Barou than Shidou is what I'm getting at.
That's fair.
Nagi can only hit. I'm thinking Nagi can only hit 1 million unless he's scoring an insane hat trick, which I doubt he's doing because it's Ryo's
Yeah, I
plan
don't
to
think
awaken
he
as
scores
well.
a brace. That's what I'm
And
thinking.
likely, I think Chigiri is going to score again just because he's been consistent
He's
with
not
scoring
gonna
goals.
fail against this weak ass team.
Yeah, but I think Nagi is hitting 100 million on the dot. I think that's a good set for him. Like,
I think he's definitely gonna beat out Shidou.
you can give Shidou a pass and he'll score. Karasu and any player can do that. No, because Shidou requires a precise passer. That's the thing. With Shidou,
Wait,
how he
what? No,
plays,
Carson does scores by himself. What the fuck, bro? What?
What the fuck did we
No,
bring
no,
Karasu into this? We're talking about
no.
strikers.
because he's
He's
talking
saying
about
that
being
that
dependent on passes.
Even Karasu can pass to Shidou and Shidou can score.
Yeah, he'll still score. It's not only Charles. He's just dependent on a passer. Nagi
Yeah, but
doesn't need a passer to score.
it's gotta be
No,
high
he's
tier
dependent on a
passer.
precise passer. He's dependent on a precise passer.
That's tr- but
Karasu
how do I say this? He
couldn't.
can still
Someone
score
like
off of
Hiyori
an
could.
Isagi pass. You know what I'm saying? But like
Yeah.
to score the ultimate goals, he needs a precise passer. But to score like an easy goal, he can like take an Isagi pass.
Even then, like we saw in the U20 game, Sai gave Shidou a pass that would work for him, yet Ryo was still on him. And even then, Ryo limited Shidou to hitting in one of two spots, which would have scored if it wasn't Gagamaru, or they bet he was going to shoot somewhere else, or had another goalkeeper block the other's position. But you have Ryo, U20 Ryo, putting Shidou on limited lockdown to where even Sai's precision passes that let Shidou perform the best he can aren't 100% accurate for Shidou. It still doesn't make Shidou a 100% goal scoring machine. Like there are conditions that need to be met for Shidou to score his goals 100% of the time in the ways that he wants to.
Yeah, even Loki said Shidou was missing too many shots.
Shidou is playing
He was
against Barca, for example. You tell me he can't score normally. Okay, who's gonna give him a pass though? Like, I think you're going to have Zantetsu and Karasu maybe feed him a pass, but Zantetsu and Karasu, from what we've seen, don't feed Shidou the pass. They feed it to Charles, and then Charles gives him the pass. Like, it looks like Karasu and Zantetsu's only job is Karasu knocks the ball away from someone, Zantetsu picks it up, feeds the ball to Charles, and then Charles sends the pass.
Even
From
in
what
the
we've
whole
seen, that's how
basketball
that works. That's what they do.
Kerbis is trolling, guys. Kerbis is straight up trolling.
Yeah. I can show you 2 instances of this being the case. In Barcha, Karasu knocks the ball away, Zantetsu picks it up, they feed it to Charles, Charles sends Shidou a pass, and then Shidou scores. In
That's
chapter
the whole system.
in chapter 180, I think it's right after Loki blocked the shot. Karasu headbutts the ball, it goes straight to Zantetsu.
180.
280,
Hold
yeah.
up.
Zantetsu picks up the
Dang.
ball and starts running down the field. Zantetsu then sends the pass over to Shidou, but then it still gets to Charles in the end, who then Charles sends a pass to Shidou, which, by the way, I feel like that's an error in the drawing because Shidou has the ball back by the field, and then somehow Charles then has it, and then the ball gets sent all the way up to Shidou again. So unless it's implied,
I thought I was drunk.
unless it's implied that he sent the ball back to Charles, that implies that Shidou can't get the ball down the field by himself, and he needs Charles to do it.
Yeah.
U20 Reo is not a defender on par with IQ.
No, he's not. He could copy Aiku's jumping, but he can't copy his overall physicality, which is exactly what
Trust
Aiku's
me.
good for. Aiku's entire thing is his
Chameleon-
reaction speed and his physicality, and Reo
Chameleon
can
has
only
not
copy.
been nerfed. It is just the fact Reo has been using it for less
Defense and more offense.
purposes.
Also, it's not that
IQ
that
ever stopped Style Shidou.
they're on the
IQ
same
never played
team.
against Cyan Shidou.
They're on the same team. Also, if you're going against the two people, the only person you should be stopping on Paris X Gen when it's like in the Ubers and when it's the Ubers game and the PXG game when they're facing off against each other, Aiku should be marking Rain over anyone else. I mean, if you want to say, did Aiku ever stop Shidou? I mean, Aiku slams Shidou on the ground.
He can physically destroy him if you wanted to.
It was a fight, like,
But
Shidou,
Shidou's
like,
too
yeah,
naughty
sure.
for that,
Aiku
bro.
surprised Shidou to stop him from attacking Sendo, but then Shidou ended to strike back with a kick, and then Aiku blocked it and then body slammed him. You said, did Aiku ever stop Shidou? We said they're never on the same team. But in terms
That's
of
not the
overpowering,
point, like-
Aiku can easily overpower Shidou.
It's the
And
same thing
let's
for
be
Rin
honest.
on the pitch too.
If IQ can stop Rin, then he can stop Shidou. Let's be honest, bro.
100%.
The only reason
Very
I
much,
can
we
struggle in that
have
final play is
confirmation
because
that
he was
IQ is
able
the
to
best defender in Japan as of right now.
Also,
best
he's also
U20
Egoist
defender.
Bible
Young,
canonically
yeah.
the strongest, apparently.
Who IQ?
Yeah. It's
seen the-
Aiku,
Yeah,
Baro,
makes
Neo.
sense.
They're apparently the 3 canonically
I mean,
strongest.
The way
I'm
he
players.
just saying whatever.
But this is before NEL,
Okay.
so
No, this is in the recent Egoist Bible. This is in the very recent Egoist Bible that came out.
Yeah, but
that's
that's
for voting
like
this off
saying
of
how
U20. This is like they're talking about U20 stuff. Like they're voting, isn't it? It's like before the U20 game. Okay, let's have a vote. Who's this? Who's that?
I don't know.
Like
No, I don't
Leo,
think
what
so.
was you gonna say?
The theme is
Maybe it might have been
very
U20.
The theme is
It might have
very
been-
U20.
It could be very U20 because there's not a lot of Kunigami stuff in here.
Yeah, Kunigami is the only one who gets like a NEL thing. Because Kunigami would have been top 3 for sure.
Yeah, that's true.
They had a whole
that's
thing where
true.
it's like
Yeah,
Karasu,
it's definitely
before
U20.
Yeah,
It's definitely U20 because Kaiser and Ness aren't mentioned anywhere in the rankings.
Hmm.
Like, sure,
Yeah,
there's
honestly, yeah, man.
character profiles, and there's character profiles for them in the new Gen 11, as well as the Master Strikers and some work in progress pages, but there's nothing in terms of like after that.
Do they have any new stats in the Egoist Bible?
It's not more stat. The stats don't usually get dropped in the Egoist Bible. They usually get dropped in the volume releases.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
I
Like
want to clarify
IQ.
something, Kerbis. Reo is a better overall player than IQ. I don't think anyone's going to argue. But as a defender, IQ surpasses Reo in every metric. He can play a better defender than Reo can.
I think
Yeah.
that we're drawing away from the main topic is that Shidou needs a precision passer to play the best he can. If you want to give him just like someone like Kurona, sure, he might have a chance to score a goal, but it's not going to be as easy for him to score a goal. Like he's not scoring He's not scoring more than 2 goals. And I say this, the reason why Shidou got a 75 million increase after his after the game in Barca was because he scored 2 goals that show off the best of what he can do from Charles. I don't think if you take Charles out, Shidou is not getting that much of not getting a 75 million increase. He's maybe hitting 50 million. But I wouldn't.
Reo is not a better centre back than Aiku. That's not.
He's not. Aiku is the second best in the series.
Yeah.
Reo is a better CDM than Aiku. I'll allow you to say that.
I can
not a better centre
agree
back
with
though.
that.
Any other position? Missionary.
I mean, if you got Isagi weaving this nigga, I mean, what else will he do for Aiku?
Who,
Yeah,
IQ? Nah.
Like, okay, here.
Yeah.
Kunigami right now has a 50 million yen value. Do you think if Charles was not in the NEL, do you think he would be above Kunigami, below Kunigami, or right at Kunigami's value of 50 million yen?
I think below Kunigami.
See, I think they're going to be right at the same. I mean, Kunigami scored 2 goals.
I think they're going to be similar, but I think he's going to be
Shidou
just
was
below
scored 2
Kunigami.
against Barca for sure, so I feel like they would have been similar.
Yeah.
Because there's no way Shidou cannot score against Barca.
Yeah. I think Shidou will have a little more attention in the World Cup because now we have Hiyori. But if Hiyori, but the thing is,
Hiyori is a passer of that level,
and Reo can copy Rain in his precision kicks to a degree.
Yeah, that's true.
But that's to say they would align with Shidou over someone else.
No, yeah. I think
Shidou.
U20 Reo is not a better centre back than U20 IQ. U20 IQ at the time of the U20 game was the best centre back we had ever heard of.
Passing, dribbling, offensive support, and free kicks, dude. We've seen. Okay, well, free kicks you can argue, but even then, I wouldn't say free kick is a defensive stat. You just listed 3. You listed 5 stats. 3 of them are offensive. But you're saying he's a better center back? Are you do know center back means deep defender, right? I want to make sure we get this clear. Because you listed offensive support. You say U20 Reo is a better center back than U20 IQ, meaning he's a better defender, meaning you should only be listing defensive stats. Lorenzo dribbles when he switches to midfielder.
Yeah.
Which they literally said they do. I'm gonna crash out right now. I'll do it. I'll do it. Can someone make a compilation of me crashing out on stupid people?
Oh my god, you've crashed out every single time.
Chapter 211, right? When they're on defense, they keep Lorenzo farthest back and let their opponents charge in. Then they press with multiple players to wrench the ball away. Then they switch the instant Lorenzo has the ball. Then Nico moves back from the midfield and switches position with Lorenzo. Meaning, Nico switches from it says right here, from midfielder to center back and from center back to midfielder. Lorenzo dribbles when he goes to midfield. So he's not being a defender. He's becoming a midfielder in this instance. So he's not a defender. He's being a midfielder. So dribbling is a midfielder or forward or offensive stat.
Center backs don't help the offense. Center backs help the
clearing. Passing and clearing are the same thing on defense. Like, if you're clearing the ball, meaning you're intending the ball to go out of bounds or send the ball to someone else, so you can lump them together. But even then, passing requires like offensive progression of the play. You sending the ball to someone revolves around you continuing a play forward, like Hiyori. Aiku doesn't do what Hiyori does. He's not a passer.
Kurubi.
I swear to God, people want to say I don't know anything about football. This guy.
Arrow, one sec. Yeah, so,
you really don't.
Kurubi, I'm not sure if you're confused or what, but like as a defender, right? You really don't need to be any good at free kicks, right?
Even then, yeah, I'm not even arguing.
You don't need to be good at dribbling when you're a defender.
You don't.
Because I'm pretty sure as a free kicker,
you don't need to be good at free kicks.
I'm pretty sure when it's a free kick, you have possession of the ball and you get a literal free kick up the field. I'm pretty sure.
And Ero, half the time the defender won't take the free kick. It's the goalkeeper that will take the free kick from that position. So you don't need to be no good at any free kicks. You don't actually need to be good at dribbling either as a centre back, especially. You don't need to be
Also,
good at
Yeah, boy.
dribbling.
I
All you
like how
have
this
to be
guy
good
said.
at is defending.
All right, can I tell you this? What's really funny? This guy says Reo has better clearing when Reo copied Aiku's clear, which is confirmed stated to be 99% of Aiku's, implying it's
Exactly.
already worse.
That's not a clearance though. That's
Yes, it is. Aiku's
that's an
serpent defense is a
interception.
clear. That's a clear.
Well,
He
yeah, you could.
intercepted the ball, sure, but then he cleared it out of bounds.
Yeah,
Like
That's a
IQ
clear.
clears it out of bounds, and then Whale copies that same stance. That's
Reo
the
Yeah.
copies Nagi's clear.
Reo copies
Nagi used that was a shot. Reo used it as a clear, sure, but that was a
Yeah.
shot.
Yeah.
That was building up the offense too. Clearance
But-
is like just getting it out of trouble.
You're okay. If
Yeah,
I
that's
say Kaiser's a better shooter than Lorenzo, that doesn't make Kaiser a better defender than Lorenzo, since we've seen him use the Kaiser impact on defense. That doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
That's your argument you're making here, is that Kaiser's a better defender than Lorenzo because he's used the Kaiser impact on defense before. That means absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Can someone put
I'm
this
not
guy in
sure how
timeout? Can this guy get arrested for bad takes?
Nah,
I was
no,
gonna say this
no
guy
ways.
is actually
But
just
but I'm,
walking
does
I'm not
make
sure
sense.
how we get
You-
into
you
Rayo
just
versus
said-
IQ in the first place.
You just
'Cause-
said he copied Nagi's clear. Did you not just say he copied Nagi's clear? He did not. He copied Nagi's shot and used it as a clear. He copied Nagi's shot and used it as a clear. But
Hey,
Kaiser
listen,
used his
listen,
shooting
relax,
weapon
man.
as a defensive
Hey,
thing. That doesn't make him better.
Let's calm down your area, chill. Let's just feed his into. Let's feed him
He's
for a bit
calm,
and just say
he's
Rio is
calm.
better. Let's chill.
Dog,
Let's chill,
I'm gonna
bro.
have a stroke.
Yo, shut the fuck up. This is for clips.
I need my sandwich.
They
Where the fuck
they're
is my
having a
sandwich?
discussion. But
This is for clips.
to be honest, right? Kurubi, like
You guys should
I'm
get some-
not too sure.
Post this on social media. You're gonna have me crashing out.
I'm not too sure how we got here, but let's be honest. There's no way Rayo's a better defender
He's not.
than IQ. There's no way. Simply because IQ is a defender for the Japan U20, right? He's been playing that position. He's been crushing other international players at that level. He's got offers from top clubs in Italy for his defending, which, if you didn't know, Italy is the best defensive league in the world.
Yeah,
Right.
Catenaccio and shit.
Yeah, so all that suggests that IQ is the top when it comes to defending. Rayo is a guy that's only just started playing football.
I'd say Rayo's trash.
Just because he can copy IQ's clearance. That's all it was. He copied IQ's clearance. It doesn't mean he's a better
Most of-
defender than IQ.
Wait, did I say that Rayo's trash? Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt.
No,
you.
you
Did
never
say
I
that?
think you
No.
specifically
No.
said that Rayo's trash as a
You
defender
just said.
when
You
compared
just
to
said.
Riker.
You did. What's a center back?
The centre back.
This,
Yeah,
I think this just proves
actually-
this guy does not know what a center back is, because he just said he's a better
Yeah.
CB, and he's not a better defender. A center back
Ku-
is
How
Kuru-
much
a
do you want to
defender.
bet?
Wait.
How much do you want to
Errol,
bet he's
don't
using
tell him.
CB and
Don't
meaning
tell him.
CDM?
Kurubi, you answer it for us.
What's a centre back?
What is a centre back?
We will give you a minute. I will not say shit until that timer on our screen hits 1 hour. If he does not say what it is, I'm counting him as
Okay.
leaving, and that's hilarious. Also,
Go on.
after this, I want to get your guys' opinion. I said that Shidou would be a good goalkeeper. I want to get your guys' opinion on that.
He said a
afterwards.
defender.
No.
Oh, he
Let me argue
replied.
my
He
points.
replied.
Let me argue my points of why I said that after this guy. A center back is a defensive
Yeah,
position.
after we get a response.
It's a defender.
Oh.
A center back is a defensive position. Therefore, it's a defender.
Mm.
I wouldn't
In
say
centre-
being a
as-
defensive position automatically makes you a defender because a CDM is still a midfielder, and it's a
But
defensive
it's a
position.
center defensive midfielder. The
It's
highlight
a
word there is
midfielder
Yeah,
still.
I know.
Like
That's what I'm saying. Though.
midfielder is
It's
still
still a
the main
defensive
role.
position, but centre back
Yeah, but-
is directly a defender.
Centre back.
I'm just saying this
right,
because
is the
I think it might confuse Curvis.
Well,
No,
I don't know.
I'm
It's
sure
gonna
he's
make you
not
need
he's
all the
not
things that
The
confused.
Kirby
nigga
said.
is already is confused. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Yeah, listen,
I
if we're
swear
talking
he might
IRL or
just be
not,
trolling.
we're talking about feet. Okay, here's the, I hate the argument saying, oh, but it happens in real life. Cool, we're not talking about real life. We're talking about the feats in this series of the styles that they're playing. So when we're talking, like, the position that Aiku does and what Ryo does, Aiku does it better. Also, you're saying U20? U20 Aiku has Metavision, which is already a better weapon than anything Ryo has in his arsenal now.
Yeah.
At that point in the U20, Ryo has only copied 3 people. He's copied Nagi, which only, by the way, he could copy Nagi's thing because he's known him for so long, so that's not a natural copy. Neo, which he didn't even really copy, he just copied his like style of like balance and balancing himself, and then he copied Aiku's thing.
Well done. Reo is able to play a centre mid whilst at centre back position,
Wait,
making plays and everything for the offense. That doesn't mean he's doing a centre back role very well.
Like, okay, if he's a better center back, are you telling me that Ryo could do everything that Aiku did in the U20 game, but Aiku couldn't do everything that Ryo did in the U20 game? In terms of like the same result. Could Ryo have stopped Rain with Shidou? Could Ryo have stopped Flow Rain with Shidou without Metavision?
He would have shit his pants.
No, you didn't have to say that. I'm asking you. I'm asking you right here. Could Ryo, with Shidou's help, stop Rain and Flow from making that goal? That's the argument. Yeah, the argument is Ryo is a better center back than Aiku is in the U20 game. That's the argument right now. Okay. Am I ridiculous here? Am I losing my mind on this?
You're not losing
No,
your
you're
mind,
not.
bro.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
not too sure how we
Fuck.
got
I gotta
here.
eat. I
Like,
gotta take a bite of this meat sandwich.
Okay,
Not
then
gay. No
obviously
homo.
not.
Mm.
But that
No.
isn't my point. What's your point then? State your point. Because clearly we are not getting it. Because
When
your
you're
point
trying to
makes no
argue,
sense.
Bro, y'all still have this dude's case. Oh my god.
here's the thing. When I argue those two positions, what I think of like when you're arguing two players who play the same position, to argue who's better, you look at A, who's had more impact on the game in their position, and 2, if their roles were swapped, could either of the players do what the other person did in their role for the overall purpose of the game? Like Aiku, like Ryo, he used Nagi's jumping turn to get the ball back upfield. Could Aiku have gotten the ball upfield?
yes,
I
he
think he could
probably
have.
could have. Yeah.
Could Ryo have stopped Rain in a 1v1?
I don't think so, to be
Rain
fair.
would
Could he have
dripped
stopped
out.
Rain in flow with Shidou's help?
Oh fuck no.
Then I would
Nah,
say
no
Aiku's the
way.
better center back because Aiku contributed far more to the game than Ryo did in terms of being a center back and being a defensive player. And keep in mind, Aiku could do everything that Ryo did in terms of the overall like impact on the game. That's my argument. So I would say Aiku's better in that role. Also, in terms of
going to
offense,
be my statement.
also in terms of offense, is Aiku not also a former forward, which would imply that he has just as good enough
Yeah.
offensive skills as Ryo?
I wouldn't put that because
Yeah, he tried out for the U20 team as a forward, and he got in as a defender because he was better at doing defensive work, which they found out.
I
But he
think
was
he
still
could be like
good enough as a forward to try out for the U20 team as a forward.
Mm.
Also, you've got to remember there is a significant thing that Reo did not manage to do that Aiku did easily, and that was Reo wasn't even a starter for that game because he wasn't one of the best centre back options for BLUELOCK at the time. Ryu and Nico both beat him in that regard, and we know right now that Aiku is far, far better than they were. And Aiku was far better than they were at the time.
Wait,
Therefore,
like,
if Reo in U20 is worse than these other characters that are worse than Aiku, how is it that Reo was not better than Ryu and Nico?
wait,
Reo did more because he was specifically used to shut down Shidou. As an overall centre back, he was not better.
That was all he had to do. He was a man. He was what Kunigami did. He was a man marker. He said,
Right.
"Don't let him
Yes,
play
he
freely."
outperformed them both because he was doing something different to what Nico and
Are you?
Also,
I actually
what
have something to say.
if you put Aiku into man mark, sorry Suki, if you put Aiku into man mark Shido, I'm pretty sure Shido's getting locked down a lot longer and a lot more efficiently than he was with Ryo.
So people fail to realize that if
I think
Rail,
if Aiku is the one locking down Shido, they're gonna stop
Wait, wait.
trying to pass to Shido overall because they know they can't get it to Shido at that point.
Also, who's to say
Wait,
Ryo
wait, guys,
passed better?
guys.
Ryo did
Let
only hit a
Suki
free
have
kick
his.
and then the jumping turn, as far as I'm aware. Like,
Wait,
is that all
guys.
he did
Let
for passing?
Suki have his say because he
Or
was trying to go just
Mm.
before.
Yeah, go on, Sue.
so you guys need to remember the fact that Rail has to watch these guys in motion. Like, if he came on as a starter instead of Nico, he cannot copy IQ skills right off the bat because he had to like sit there during the whole. How long was 50 something minutes of watching
Yeah,
these guys
50,
in action?
60 minutes. Yeah.
So he's actually gonna like play so much worse. So that's why it's like after all that, okay, now you can finally fulfill the job of a man marking Shido. So he's has to like binge them playing and then finally get good enough to somewhat be able to stop Shido.
Mhm.
Yeah. Also, I did Google search. I'm telling you right now. Here are 3 different sources. Are you ready for this? Center backs are defensive positions in soccer. They are known as central defenders or center halves. Center backs are the last line of defense before the goalkeeper. They stop opposing players from scoring by
Mhm.
intercepting passes, making tackles, and clearing the ball. Source number 2. The center back, also known as the central defender or center half, as the modern role of the center back arose from the center half position, defends in the area directly in front of the goal and tries to prevent opposing players, particularly center forwards, from scoring. Source number 3.
Mhm.
Center backs, also known as central defenders, are the pillars of the defensive line in modern soccer. Their primary role is to protect the team's goal by intercepting passes, making crucial tackles, and positioning themselves perfectly to effectively thwart attacking players. That is 3 separate sources telling you what a center back's role is. Nowhere does it mention offensive support.
That's a CDM at
Yeah, I
best.
think
Yeah,
you're
that's
getting
just
confused there,
what a CDM is
Kurubi.
meant to do.
Kurubi, you're getting confused with
Realistically, that's just a
just
CDM.
because CDM
That's why
has defensive in its name doesn't mean it's a defender, right? A CDM is a central defensive midfielder, but a
he's more
CDM is a midfielder, just a defensive one.
A deep
You
line
get
right.
it?
playmaker is just a CDM, right? Am I
Like
wrong?
Yeah, a
Like
deep line
Karasu. Like
Yeah.
playmaker is
Karasu's
a
a deep
CDM.
line
Oh,
playmaker.
you're right.
Like Lorenzo also plays that when he wants to go build up the attack. He'll change his position for that. But when he's defending,
Kurubi,
yeah.
You're saying deep line
you're playing.
playmaker center back. That's a CDM. What you are
That's a
describing
CDM,
is a
bro.
CDM. What you are describing is a CDM. You're confusing center
Yeah,
back
you're
and CDM.
confused.
What you're describing, a deep line playmaking center back, that's a CDM.
I'm surprised you knew that, Arrow.
I'm bullshitting.
Which we we
No,
know
but
that
you're right.
there are numerous CDMs better than IQ. For example, Kodasu, Nico, Raichi are all also better than Aiku at CDM. Because Aiku is not a midfielder.
Even
Even
Kunigami.
if it's a defensive midfielder, he's not in that position for
Kunigami
a
was
reason.
sick
He's a centre
CDM.
back.
Okay,
Kunigami was
also,
also a great
Kunigami is
CDM.
a sick CDM.
oh, Ryo
But
wasn't a
Kunigami
playmaker,
wouldn't make
and
a
neither
good
was
defender.
Aiku. Neither of them were the playmakers in the game. It was Sai for the U20 team, and it was Isagi and Rain, and a little bit of Hiyori for the for
Yeah.
the BLUELOCK team. You can say Karasu. I'll say Karasu for that, because Karasu did have his plan. My center back is really good at passing and dribbling. Now, fuck that. He will only ever defend. Are you fucking done? When he goes up to do his passing and defending, he switches to a midfielder, though. That's what Lorenzo does. Because, you ever notice
Yeah, but
that the center back doesn't ever come up unless there's absolutely,
It's,
like, specific circumstances?
I'm going to sleep.
I
I'm
think
going to my
I think
Anyway,
we're gonna have to
forget
move
this.
on
Forget
from
this.
this discussion.
Yeah.
Kurubi, I don't know if
yeah.
you might not we might not be able to get through to you.
Yeah, at this point.
But yeah, you've
lost
heard us.
causes, bro.
We've heard you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've heard you.
Yeah.
You've heard us. I think it's best we just move on from this one.
$20
Hey,
says
bro, bye, bro.
he's gonna leave the live and tell his friends that he won this debate.
Nah, like it
I've
doesn't
got
matter who won, but like at
on
the
the
end of the
bottom
day, bro,
coping with
like
Tormental.
this
We're
all
not
started.
coping.
This all one sec. Well, this all started from saying Rayo's a better center back than IQ, which is not true. Let's be
Yeah.
honest, it's not true.
It's
So we'll just
factually
move.
wrong.
Yeah,
We'll
copium when
just
it's everyone
move on
versus
from
you.
that.
Why
With
can't I
evidence,
be
by the
sure
way.
about this on my
With
channel?
evidence. I provided
No,
3
OP's
like
OP's talking to
reasons.
Kirubi here.
No, that's what I'm
OP's
saying.
talking.
Yeah, I know that's
Yeah.
what he's saying. OP's
Ah, right.
supporting this.
Okay.
Not only did we provide 3 like non-blue lock, more football and actual soccer related sources that prove him wrong, but we provided him evidence in the blue lock manga, which, by the way, I'm pretty sure all of us here are content creators who do research and go in and make sure we're correct in the statements we're saying, so we don't seem like an idiot.
Mm.
Yeah.
There's 5 of us who all do that to either get paid or do it for fun, and along with 3 sources, the 3 sources I just provided you, I'm pretty sure you're wrong. If all 5 of us who do the research extensively are saying you're wrong, I think you're wrong. Anyways, the take I
Yeah.
wanted to ask you:
Yeah. Go on.
Do you agree? Shidou would be a good goalkeeper. Just tell me your answer now, and I'll explain my reasoning after.
Shall we go left to right with answering this?
Yeah.
Or I don't know who's
Yeah.
at the very left.
Yeah,
It,
for me.
it is
Oh, okay, so it's
Leo.
me.
Yeah.
I agree with you because I know your reasoning behind this. Raito.
Yeah, you do.
Sorry. What was the question?
Would Shidou be a good goalkeeper?
Shidou. Oh, yeah, yeah. Okay. Um, Shidou would be a good goalkeeper. He's got great sense in the box. He's got great agility, great jumping. So yeah, he would be a good goalkeeper. I think he's gonna play goalkeeper, no, I don't think so. But yeah,
Yeah.
he'd be a great goalkeeper to be honest.
Yeah. Suki,
Suki
you're here.
just logged. He's
All right,
offline.
Leo. Would Shidou be a good goalkeeper? I love your answer, man.
Le-
Thank you so much for it.
Leo, your chance, bro.
You're muted, man.
Is he on? Yeah, you're on mute right now, Leo.
All right, he
Yeah,
ain't here.
but
All right, I'll take it over. So
yeah.
the reason I say that he would be a good goalkeeper comes from not his mentality, but his weapons. I'm not saying he will play goalkeeper. I'm not saying he would want to play it. I'm saying when you look at what Shidou can do, he fits all the requirements for a good goalkeeper. He is
hmm
essentially Gagamaru. The only thing he has over Gagamaru is better awareness in the box and heightened physicality, which I think are both things that a good goalkeeper would need. Because Shidou plays in the box specifically for him scoring goals, him being in the goalkeeper and always being in that box, as soon as someone enters that goal box, he's going to know exactly how they're going to shoot.
Yeah, yeah,
Right?
that's true.
He's just
And
because
he's
from
he's
his
he's
from
also
his
gonna
perspective, he would be on that other end.
yeah, but he's also gonna react really well as well to it because we know he's got some really good reaction speed.
Yeah, he has very explosive reactions.
Second, he's incredibly physical. If you're doing one-on-one, I think it'd be really threatening to have someone like Shidou bomb rush you
hmm
to limit your shooting, while also being able to reflexively act to where you're going. Because, like, let's say you enter the box, right, and it's you in one-on-one with Shidou. Not only is he likely going to rush out towards you incredibly quickly, limiting your shooting angle even more, but because you're already in the box, and from Shidou's position, he has heightened awareness in the box, he could tell how you're going to shoot.
Yeah,
So he could already bum rush the way you're trying to shoot and react to it instantly. And he's
yeah,
incredibly
for sure.
physical. He will get that ball and make sure he gets it. Like, he's more physical than Gagamaru, I would say. And
Yeah,
he might
I
not have the
think
flexibility, but he can react just as fast as he can. And he's way more
he can.
physical, like, directly.
He loses out in reach though, but he can react probably just
Yeah,
as fast.
obviously.
Yeah,
He also does have a decent amount of flexibility.
Yeah, I'm just saying like he probably can't do a handstand block. But again, we're not talking about Zlatan, we're talking about Shidou. Don't bring in IRL people when we're talking about the feats of fictional characters.
Yeah.
Like, I hate when people do that. I hate when people bring up like Holland and try to use that to justify Shidou. Like, cool, that's an in real life person. I'm talking about a fictional character, which we have on panel all of the things that they are able to do. Right? Like,
Yeah.
I can tell you the exact limitations of what this character can and cannot do. I cannot tell you the exact limitations of what an IRL person can do.
Yeah, that's
Right?
true.
Like, don't use like people are gonna say, oh, when I make the argument that Shidou needs a precise passer, they're like, oh, well, then so does Holland. Or like when I say that Shidou can't dribble, oh, well, then I guess that Holland makes Holland a bad player. That's not how that works, because to be on an official team in real life, you have to have decent all around skills.
Mhm.
Like, if Holland was only good at shooting and only ever good at shooting, he would not be on that team. He would not be. Because if he can only shoot and he can't dribble or anything like that, even to an average degree, to where like if he can't pass, to where he has the ball outside of the goal
If
box
yeah,
and he can't
if he
get
can't
and he can't
trap the ball to a
like effectively
decent
move the ball
level,
forward,
yeah,
yeah, he's not being on that
yeah,
team, because that is a
yeah, for
huge
sure.
weakness that the other team would exploit and that they would not want for their team. Do not bring up IRL players to justify fictional characters. That's not how that works. But
Yeah,
Shidou's
for sure.
spatial awareness being incredibly heightened in the
Someone
box
mentioned
is
a
something
really
that.
good point.
What's up?
Someone
What
brought
is
up a
it,
really good
Nagis?
point. Gagamara in
No.
the U20 was a really good goalkeeper because of his instinct. Shido almost definitely has a better instinct and reaction time than Gagamaru.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, here's the thing:
Therefore,
Gagamaru
he would
moves based off of
also
his
be
gut,
able to
like gut
play.
feeling. Shidou just moves. He just
Mhm.
instinctively
Yeah.
moves to wherever his penis tells him. Like, I'm not
So
wrong.
realistically, if Gagamaru could do what he did in the U20 game, Shido could do just as well as that level of Gagamaru.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
Yoki,
not saying Shidou
we're
should
not
become a
saying
goalkeeper.
yeah, we're not
I'm
saying he's
not.
gonna be a goalkeeper.
I'm not saying he should
Yeah.
ever. I'm not even saying in the series that he will ever be one, or that he should convert to one. I'm just saying, if Shidou did become a goalkeeper, he would be good.
And I agree with that.
Zabaza, provide me the evidence to prove how I'm wrong. But Shidou's not only has instinct and is tall, Shidou is flexible. Shidou is very physical. Shidou is very fast.
He's got good reaction times.
He got a heightened awareness of where everyone and everything is in within the penalty box.
In the penalty area, bro, yeah, for sure. For sure.
Shidou's
He's got the
reaction in
traits.
the third selection was able to keep up with Reen's high level thought process. Just based off of pure reaction speed. Like, that's insane to think about.
We guys, when we have these discussions, we gotta think about the points that Aero's making, and then we can react. Because with that, I think you're thinking, oh no, just because you said just because he's tall and what do you call it, he can react, he's gonna be a good goalkeeper. That's not what Aero's saying. Aero's saying he's got traits that would be good for that position. He's not saying that he's gonna actually be the goalkeeper or he should be the goalkeeper. He's just simply saying Shido has the traits that would be great for that position.
Yeah. That's the argument I'm
Also,
making. Like,
another trait
if you
that
give
he
all of
has,
Shidou's weapons to Gagamaru, would Gagamaru not just be the best goalkeeper ever?
Hmm.
Like,
exactly.
like
Another thing that Shido has that we've not mentioned yet, I don't think, unless I've missed it. He has very springy jumps. Like
yeah,
that man
he gets high.
that man is capable of making diving headers from like decent distances. That man made a bicycle kick quite high in the air.
Shidou just
He
pure
can jump.
jumped up past Ryo's shoulder. Ryo is 6 foot. Just no running, just like a stationary hop. Got him up to that shoulder. Also, by the way, Zabuza, your argument, Shidou has to use his hands. That's not a good argument.
Yeah,
Like,
because once you go in goals, bro, of course you're gonna have to use your hands, and he will just use his hands, bro. You could
who's
say
to
the
say
same
that
thing for
Shidou couldn't use
Gagamaru.
his feet to save stuff too? Gagamaru used his foot to block a shot.
Yeah, it's just
Gagamaru had
literally
never
you can
played
make
Yeah.
that
goalkeeper
same
before.
same argument for Gagamaru, bro.
Yeah, Gagamaru never played goalkeeper before. That was his first game, and yet he used his hands. Gagamaru used any other part of his body. Here's the thing. Pretty much everything Gagamaru's done, Shidou could do as well, and Shidou has done. Gagamaru stopped the ball with the back of his heel. Shidou has scored using the back of his heel. Gagamaru has attempted to hit a ball using a diving header. Shidou could do it with a diving header.
Yeah.
Shidou has scored a goal with a diving header, right?
Hmm.
Like,
Yeah, for sure.
the only thing that I think Gagamaru couldn't do is maybe a bicycle kick. And even then, Gagamaru is flexible enough to do a scorpion kick and get high enough to where he can comfortably do that. I think a bicycle
Let's
kick could
say.
be possible.
Yeah, I think if he wanted to, I'm sure he could do one for sure.
Like, and then again, I even made the argument that Shidou's entire mentality might stop him from playing goalkeeper. But like, if you went to Faster Munchen, who's to say Noah wouldn't
Zabuza,
force him into goalkeeper?
Zabuza, you're trolling, bro. Come on, you're trolling right now. You're trolling. Come on.
Who's Yeah, like, man, you're trying to put everything in the into reality, and you can't do that all the time with manga. Like, it's a fictional story; it's gonna have unrealistic points, and you have to look at it from an unrealistic perspective. You can say people try to use the argument of plot when things aren't realistic. Like,
I
not
also
everything is gonna be realistic.
I want to state something about Shido that I don't know if this is going to help with goalkeeping because I don't know enough about goalkeeping, but I don't know if this is going to be any useful. It has been confirmed that Shido is fully ambidextrous.
Yeah,
Really?
Shido is completely fully ambidextrous. It has been
Oh
confirmed in
wow.
I'm pretty sure it was
what's it
Egoist
called?
Bible.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, because it
Okay.
was like,
That's
oh,
We
sick.
what's your
have
It was like, what's your dominant foot or something, and Cheeto was like, oh, I don't remember. I used either.
I was gonna say it was like I'm pretty sure no, it was what hand do you use to write or something? And he went, I can use both hands. I wonder if I can write with my feet or something. Because he was just being a horny bastard at the time for that
Yeah,
question. I'd have to check it.
yeah. He literally said both my legs are turbo.
Mm,
Yeah, like,
Yeah, like he is completely ambidextrous, and that would help
wow.
in goal from what I imagine, because it does allow him
yeah, but
more control.
Right, guys. I wanted to ask this, right?
yeah,
Um, in terms of Kaiser and Isagi's dynamics, first of all, do you guys think that we'll see Kaiser again, as in like
yes,
play against Kaiser again?
yeah.
And
Yes.
secondly, how do you think that's gonna go? Do you think he's gonna evolve? Like Kaiser's gonna play more like Isagi, or is he gonna return back to Malice?
Um, I think with the have you seen the official translations for the latest chapter?
Yeah, I have. Yeah,
So Kaiser himself says that he lost because he dove into the freedom that Isagi gave
into
him.
freedom.
So I think he's
Yeah,
gonna be more heightened to play with restriction.
because because
But
because the thing is, he loved playing with Isagi, right?
mhm,
So for me, it's like yes, he knows that his play style is based on the whole Malice, right? But
mhm.
who's to say he wouldn't incorporate the freedom aspect into his game now that he's felt it.
Well, because
You
he
know
just
what I
tried to,
mean?
and that's why he lost. Like, he's not gonna try and
Okay.
do that again because he'll lose.
Yeah, I think he's more likely to go back to sort of completely rage style playing. Not rage style, but you get what I mean. Like
Yeah.
that sort of hatred for
Restriction,
himself,
malice.
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Suki and
So
Leo
so
disappeared.
so
I
you
didn't
guys
notice.
you guys you guys do actually think, oh yeah. You guys actually, you guys do think that we're going to play Germany at some point?
I think Kaiser's gonna be popular in the next arc.
Okay,
Is-
Because
really?
Can I
I had the
quickly
whole
say
thing.
something?
Yeah, go ahead. I'll let you go.
Zabuza, this is not Kanashiro having bad writing for the goalkeeper. This is the fact that the story is driven forward by plot, and as of right now, we have not met a goalkeeper who is on that high tier level. That is why Gagamaru is able to keep up with them, because these are all goalkeepers who would not be representing their country in the U20
Yeah,
World Cup.
yeah. Also, if you want
They
to
are
argue
all
what Gagamaru's
goalkeepers
is plot, what about
not good
Nagi?
enough.
What about Nagi? Nagi's done some insanely unrealistic things. You don't hear you don't hear people calling that plot. It's because that's what
Look
Nagi
at
can
fucking
do. Nagi
Chigiri.
Nagi's a yeah. Look at Loki.
Oh
It's
yeah,
because
Loki's
that's what they're
BS.
good
Oh
at,
People
and
yeah.
they're
basically
being put in
teleport.
positions of what that make them good. The only reason why you say it's plot is because there's no competition. We've seen we've gotten I think two like Fukaku and Gagamaru are going to be the two goalkeepers for Japan, right? That's inevitable. But we don't really get a
Yep.
highlight on the other goalkeepers because this NEL is so striker focused. Like, for example, Isagi is who we're following. He is a goal scorer. And because he's a goal scorer, he is going to have to score goals. And by scoring goals, it makes the other goalkeepers look bad by comparison. Right? I mean,
Mhm.
the only way you could do that is to have a goalkeeper constantly stop their shots over and over again. And again, that's not the story that's being told. Currently, it's a competition between two strikers, Kaiser and Isagi. So it's about them scoring goals. It's not about which of them can get a shot off that doesn't get blocked. It's about which of them can get a shot off. Which of
Mhm.
them can surpass the other person. That's what this story is about. So when you're talking about goalkeepers, Gagamato is going to seem overpowered because he is on our protagonist's side. And a way
Yeah.
you keep the protagonist's side stable is by making them good in their position, right?
Mhm.
But again, unless the goalkeeper is a central figure of the story, he's not going to get much development. It's not
I
that there's
do.
plot, it's just why would you give someone insanely overpowered stuff if they aren't relevant to the story when you then instead could give that overpowered stuff to someone who is relevant? Does that make sense?
Mhm. I do hope that we come across a really good goalkeeper at some point, though. Um,
I reckon
because
all of the
a lot
U20
of
goalkeepers that they play will pose a bit more of a threat, especially since it's going to be 90-minute games. I reckon we will see more stopped shots.
more block shots. I hope so, because a lot of the goalkeepers we've played so far, they can't. They can't
You've got to remember
save anything.
the NEL is clubs, not
Yeah, clubs, not
not
not international.
countries.
Yeah.
There is a major difference between this. Gagamaru is a goalkeeper who should be competing with country level players, not with club level players. That is why he
Yeah.
Yeah.
seems so much better.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Also,
fair.
Fukaku was considered to be by ego standards, they're crap. Japan's U20 team is crap.
Yes. Yes.
Like the only one who wasn't is Aiku. You take Aiku out, after Aiku it's Sendo. Like are you right? Are you where are you ranking the rest of the characters? Sai, Aiku, and Shidou. It was a 3v11. Or no, sorry, it was a 3v14 against BLUELOCK. That's what it was. Realistically, it was a
Yeah.
3v14.
No, I think you've got to give Sendao a bit more credit.
I mean,
And
did Sendo really
Neo.
have Sendo got stopped by Nico. Gagamaru blocked his shot. He then linked up with
True.
Shido. And then he saved Bacheta's shot.
Yeah, no,
That's
I
about
forget
all
how
he
shit
did.
Sendao was.
That's about all he did. Really.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I completely forgot how much Sendao got dog walked in that game.
He's not even
He
that
tried.
bad. It's just
Yeah.
that
It's
our
not.
No,
It's
he's a
not
our
that
great
bad.
guys were
player.
good. Like if you
It's
put
just,
Sendo into the Blue Lock project, oh, he would have been so good.
He would have been better
yeah,
than
definitely.
quite a few other players. He wouldn't be
It's again
top
the thing
like,
of like the
but
coaches restricted their entire development.
Yeah,
everyone has to be like this, and that's
I
why
mean,
Sendo,
just
if he got from the Blue Up Project, would have been good.
look at how much Sendo and Aiku themselves have gotten better since coming to do the NEL.
Hmm.
Their change is
Oh,
massive.
Yeah.
Also, a goalkeeper doesn't need to be new Gen 11. They just need to be on a world class team. Like
Right,
I'm,
guys,
s-
can we a- can we
like
answer this OP question quickly?
yeah,
Arrow, finish your thought, and then
no, it's just
we're
like
gonna answer
you
this.
trying to say a goalkeeper needs to be new Gen 11. No, but they need to be of more priority and of more value. The goalkeepers aren't necessarily going to be the best. Like only reason Gagamato is because he has weapons and was trained by Ego and I guess Ambassador Munchen now how to use their weapons to their fullest, and that just so happened that Gagamato using his weapons to the best fits for goalkeeping positions, right?
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
for when going into the World Cup, there's likely not going to be a new Gen 11 goalkeeper every single time, but because it's about the game and the entire point of Blue Lock is about scoring goals. The only way to do that is to make your strikers better than your goalkeepers. Like the goalkeepers are going to look crap by comparison because there's no competition. Like
Yeah.
Gagamato has no competition, but he's also a more pivotal part to the story than someone like Moro, Barcha's old goalkeeper.
Or Renoir, PXG's goalkeeper.
Yeah, like you need to look at it as like, oh, the goalkeepers are bad. This is a story told from the striker's perspective. Like, if there's gonna be stories told from a goalkeeper's perspective, go read Inazuma 11. You'll likely
Exactly.
you'll likely find more better goalkeepers there because it isn't necessarily about scoring goals. Which hell, Blue Lock isn't even really a team based manga. Like,
No,
sure,
it's not.
it's more team, but it's more individual based. You're gonna see better
Chemical
goalkeepers
reactions
in other
happen,
series.
but
Plus, how many times have you seen where the goalkeeper wasn't of some kind of insane quality or of an insane title where they've been good? Like, how many soccer shows or manga have you read where the goalkeeper that isn't the main character on the main character's side or doesn't have a
Hmm.
special class is overall good? You don't. It's not
Yeah.
an uncommon thing.
Yoki, Yoki, there is an Inazuma 11 manga, even if it started as a game.
Yeah, like that's Pokemon. I'm pretty sure Pokemon started as the game and then it turned into the card game and then it turned into the anime.
Yeah.
Pretty
Yeah.
sure that's
Yeah,
how,
and
or it
then
was
the
the anime and
manga.
then card game.
There is
Yeah,
still a
yeah,
manga of Inazuma 11, Yoki. I've read
yeah.
it.
Again, Aoishi's got pretty good keepers because it's not told from a goal scoring perspective. It is
Hmm.
told from a united team front perspective. Blue Lock, all it cares about is scoring goals. That's why you have Aiku, who's still ranked lower than he should be, and that's why you have Gagamaru, who's ranked lower than he should be. Because in a story told from the perspective of a lot of strikers, goals are going to need to be scored, and in order to do that, you have to make your goalkeepers weak to some degree because you want to show growth and development for these characters.
Hmm.
Like for example, Fukaku blocked Rain's original shot.
That's
Rain's
true.
first opening shot, Fukaku had blocked, but eventually you had to start making it so Blue Lock was going to win eventually, and goals were going to be scored. So eventually he's not going to seem as good by comparison because the strikers are getting better.
That's true. That's true.
Like
Right.
that's
Quickly.
just
Quickly.
how it is. Oh, I
Speaking of.
sorry, Yoki, I wouldn't talk about Oishi just because I don't like the series that much. Anyways, continue.
Alright, speaking of goalkeepers, which vision ability would be better for them? Predator Eye or Metavision? Um, Predator Eye is my take because it's all about focus, and the goalkeeper needs to be able to focus on the goal scorer, focus on the ball in order to save it. I'm not sure what his peripheral vision, how that's gonna aid him in a one-on-one situation in front of the goal.
I think
I
Predator is
will
more likely, but
I will rebuttal that Metavision would be better.
Okay.
Specifically for, you've got to bear in mind, a a goalkeeper would have a the goalkeeper would need to be watching the whole field because it gets to a point where someone can run up to you, and once they get directly in front of you, sure, Predator Eye will be useful, but that is playing into idea that they will definitely shoot, which we have seen characters multiple times get to that position and pass to someone else. So Metavision, in my opinion, would be better because you could see the entire field and you could make better predictions on what the player's going to do. Especially
That's a
with
fair,
characters like Sendao out there, who are
Mhm.
just goal hyenas.
Yeah.
but
Or secondary
that's a fair
strikers.
point. That's a fair point. But if you got Predator Vision activated, would you not be able to predict that the guy might pass the ball instead because you're that focused?
Yes, but you're so focused on him that it would take you longer to react to whoever he's passing to, whereas Metavision would give you that time to react.
But then you lose the focus. So in that situation, yes, that could be a way to get past the predator eye. But in most situations, you don't really have a simple pass and tapping, you know. So the goalkeeper needs to be able to save
Well,
his
here's
shots.
here's another thing though.
Hmm.
Here's another thing. I think with certain characters like Gagamaru, having Metavision over Predator Eye because Gagamaru doesn't need that hyper focus because he's very gut instinctual.
Hmm. Yeah, but that will also help him though, would it not?
I don't know. I think having the knowledge to see the whole field would help him more.
I'm not
I
sure
think
why
I
I feel
think
like
because
Predator Eye,
he's
yes,
not moving.
overall. I think Predator Eye overall would probably be better, but I think Metavision still has a lot of uses in goal.
Mm. Arrow, what was you gonna say?
I think it just depends on the situation. Like I feel like Predator Eye is great for that last second, like, okay, one-on-one situation when the final person takes the shot kind of thing.
Hmm. Yeah,
But Metavision is better everything leading up to it. Like
yeah.
if I'm uh back at the box, right, and the offense is beginning their push, I would want Metavision. Once they reach the box and they're bound to take a shot at any point, then I would want Predator Eye.
Hmm.
Does that make sense? That's where I see it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So in that case, like, do you think most of the time? So you would agree that most of the time Predator Eye will probably be the more useful case because the way I see it, most of the shots that we've seen, they've been in the box. Like players don't really hardly ever shoot from outside the box. Um, and if it's from outside the box, you have more time to react as well. In Lexio's case, where the guy can pass it to one of his teammates, then yeah, definitely, I think the Metavision is definitely going to be more helpful in that case. But for me, I think a lot of the time players are going to be shooting in the box, and in Blue Lock, a lot of players, the strikers tend to be more selfish. So Predator Eye will probably serve you better um in the Blue Lock environment compared to the Metavision. Because as well, Metavision, you've got more information, but is that going to be as useful when you're just sat back the whole time, waiting for someone to come into your box? I'm not too sure.
I feel like
Well, it leads
another
up to like,
reason
can you
Metavision would
predict
be a
who's going to
lot
be the
more
last shooter?
useful.
Well, if you're a Metavision thing,
Yeah.
situations like what Sai did, when he did the back heel pass to Aiku, that nobody
Hmm.
could expect, not even Gagamaru, who was watching everything, could have
Hmm.
saw that coming.
Yeah.
That's where I think situations like that. But in terms of like downright like simple plays, Predator Eye is definitely better. But in terms of like calculated tacticians,
Hmm.
Metavision I think is better
Yeah.
leading up to it. Especially like if you're
Yeah.
okay. But
An-
again, who are we putting it on? Are we putting it on Gagamaru? I would say Metavision's better. Which is if we're talking any, he could have either or. I would say
Oh,
Metavision would make
really?
him the overall better.
I would have thought
yeah.
Predator Eye
Because
Especially
here's the
because
with
thing.
another follow up.
Because here's the thing. If he can
Here's a
focus on
follow up
one
point
thing,
I want to
cool,
make.
that's fine. But like if he focuses too much on the wrong thing, even
Mhm.
his reflexes might barely not save him. But if he can
Oh,
view over
really?
everything and be sure what's happening, he won't even need his reflexes unless it's absolutely necessary.
Mm,
Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
that's fair.
another thing I want to say. A reason Metavision will also help is if you catch the ball, utilizing Metavision to see the best possible like place to sort of kick the ball to as a goalkeeper is very, very good.
Mm. Yeah, that's true.
So
Like
you can
distribution
utilize your
wise,
metavision to see the
yeah.
state of the field when they're waiting for you to make your kick and find the best place to put the ball, which I think is another reason.
Yeah, but is Yoki when it comes to IQ, I don't think his probabilities are down to his metavision, are they? Is that part of his metavision?
One more question. Sorry. Say one more time.
So so you see like so Yoki says metavision is better for one-on-ones. Imagine having metavision like IQs. And for things that are not one-on-one, you can see the whole field. Every
Metavision
play,
isn't good for one-on-ones.
you'll be that's what I thought. Because I think because Yoki's because IQ has this thing where he can see probabilities of whether he can stop a player, right?
I think that's just
But I
more
don't
of
think
what like IQ
I don't
overall, just like reflexes.
yeah, I
Because he's
don't
not
think that's
seeing.
part of
Yeah,
his
that's just part of
metavision.
Because he's
IQ
not.
skill
Because
set.
he is
Yeah.
doing it very similar to Predator Eye. I think that's gonna get. I think that's gonna get. I think that what's the term when you discard
It's
something like that, like kind of
Retconned.
excluded from the canon. Retcon. I think
retcon,
they're gonna
yeah,
retcon that now
retcon.
that Predator Eye is a thing. Because
Mm,
like I think what happened. I think what they could explain for the context is that Aiku used his overall spatial awareness to understand the positions of everyone on the field, and by using his
mm-hmm,
reflexes, he thought moving left would be better over right, just based off the positions of everyone else. It'd be less crowded and less difficult for him to move.
mm-hmm.
That's what I'm
Okay.
gonna take as the argument for that. But I think they are gonna
I have a
retcon it.
different idea on what they're going to do with that. I don't think
Mm.
they're going to retcon, and here's why. I think, and this is a crazy, crazy theory from me. I think IQ's going to end up with both Predator Eye and Metavision. I
It's
think we're going to
possible.
see a situation where he's sort of like
There's
at
both.
one point, even if it's just like a visual thing, one of his eyes would be Metavision and one would be Predator Eye as he's
That's
using them in
Ooh,
impossible
tandem.
that'd
though.
be so sick.
That's impossible though.
It is impossible because you can't focus one eye. Yeah, but
You can't.
that would be
Predator
so
Eye
sick.
focuses
I
on
know
one
you
thing, while
can't.
Metavision views everything. It's never gonna happen. Maybe he could
Yeah,
switch
I
between the
know.
two,
But IQ
but
has two
That's
different
what I'm
eye
saying.
colors, bro.
I more so meant it's like a whole. They're showing them both because he keeps switching between them both,
oh, like a panel of
and that's
like
what I meant by using.
it's like a activating in and
Yeah,
out,
like
in
a
and out, in and
split
out.
panno. Yeah,
That'd be
like
so sick.
when
Oh
he's
my
Oh, like the
constantly
net,
god.
like
like the Nest
swapping
panel,
between the
like the
two.
Nest panel, like the Nest panel
Yeah,
thing. Where
yeah.
Yeah.
okay,
There's that sort of moment where we see one of his eyes as Metavision and one as Predator Eye. Because um,
I still disagree though.
I do genuinely
And there's
think that Aiku will end up with both. Because I feel like there's some sort of significance behind the fact Aiku used to be a striker that is going to play into the way he defends.
but that's not how Predator Eye works though. See,
What do you
okay,
mean?
Predator Eye and Metavision, uh they're not linked to your ego type. They're linked to your
Yeah, I
environment.
know.
They're linked to
Environment.
restriction or freedom.
Right, yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah.
the only person in the series who can use it is Kaiser because he thrives in both restriction and freedom. The restriction was when he was a kid, right?
Mm-hmm.
And growing up, he had that restriction. And then when at Bastion Munchen, when Ness assisted him, he only showed Predator Eye. That's because at that point in the series, he was been living in restriction. But after finding Ness, he began to live in freedom. And for 4 years, he lived in the freedom, which eventually let him develop Metavision, right? That's the
Mm-hmm.
only reason why he can do it. I think of it like continued exposure. Through the continued exposure of that
It's
kind of environment, he developed the ability to unlock both. But the argument I see with like OP making that Aiku striker mentality was restricted by Japanese football is because Aiku didn't thrive in the restriction in the way that Kaiser can thrive in both freedom and restriction. Aiku deliberately chose to leave when
Mm-hmm.
faced with the restriction. He deliberately chose, I'm not playing striker anymore because of the restriction he was put in. He deliberately left and said, I'm playing a defender. so he could still stay within the
Did he
freedom that he
actually wait?
chooses. That's still
Did
it's
IQ actually choose that? I swore he was
yeah.
moved there by
No.
No,
the.
no, no, no.
No,
IQ
IQ
chose
said,
to
"I'm going to
play
become a defender
as a
to
defender.
crush. I want to become a defender to crush the strikers you guys are mass producing." He did it of his
Mhm.
own free will and accord, so he still had the freedom to go to the position he wanted to,
Yeah, he could have been a striker if he wanted.
which Blue Lock sparked the awakening of his Metavision because he continuously thrived in the freedom.
Mm.
Because Kaiser thrived in restriction, he developed Predator Eye. After continued exposure to the freedom environment thanks to Ness, he developed a Metavision, and now he's able to use both on his own accord. That's what makes Kaiser
There
um,
is.
a dual wielder, and the only dual wielder in the series is because there's been no one in the series who can thrive in both restriction and
I think there is a
um.
possible.
There's no one who can thrive in restriction and freedom for a substantial amount of time without it hindering their play style.
Yeah,
Because like
but
there's characters who can definitely
I
temporarily
think
play in restriction,
IQ.
like Bado. Bado plays temporarily in freedom, and he can still do really good. But Kaiser was continuously exposed to that freedom for years.
mm.
A couple games of that with Bado
I
is
think
not going to let him get Metavision. Same thing with any other character.
I think IQ is a character who we right. I think there's still a lot to IQ we don't know about. IQ is a character feel like we will get a lot more flashbacks about. I feel like we'll get a lot more development about. And I
But
do genuinely believe there is a possible world in which IQ ends up with both Metavision and um Predator Eye for some reason or another.
I'll can I say the one thing of why I disagree? I think in terms of
Go
that,
ahead.
Predator Eye wouldn't necessarily benefit him in any degree. As a defender, viewing over the entire field is going to be way better than just being able to focus on one specific person because with how everyone we've seen play, they're constantly exchanging passes.
But
Like,
Arrow, the I get where Lexio's coming from
oh, I do
because
as well. I do as well,
would
but
you
I think
IQ
so
why give him
one
that?
of
one scenario
well
could
one of
be
the main things about IQ is his two sides. That is something that has continuously been sort of established is that IQ
Yeah.
is there is two sides to IQ, the defender and the striker, the green and the purple.
Yes, I get
I
that, but
think
you're
that that is
highlighting
going to
but
Predator Eye
um
under separate contexts. Predator Eye
so
is limited
so
to restriction. So far, only characters who are restrictive type egos have Predator Eye. Yukimiya because of his vision
yeah,
and the
but what
time and the progression of the disease, Rain because of his true flow state, Bado because of the darkness he needs to play the best, and now Kaiser
mhm.
because of the restriction and
so
malice he needs.
so
Aiku, the
Arrow,
only
okay,
way
but
you'd
what
ever
I
get that
think
would be to
is
become a striker. And even then, we have too many strikers for that to be needed.
but this is
here's
the
the thing
thing
though. I think there is
with
a
wait
world
wait
in
Lex
which
Lexio,
IQ
let me go.
go on, sorry.
One
Oh
sec.
well.
So with IQ, he's played as a striker and he's played as a defender. His freedom came from defending, but he's also played as a striker before, right? The thing is, don't you think there could be a scenario in the U20 World Cup where he has to lock down a certain striker on the other team, and the only way possible is for him to one-on-one deal with them. So like say the striker's not gonna pass, but he's maybe a great dribbler. The only way is to one-on-one, and in that scenario, the best thing for him is to get the to unlock the predator eye. I can
But he
see that
couldn't.
being a trigger,
That's fine, but he couldn't do that because he needs to thrive in restriction and be exposed to the restriction for a very long time.
but he has though. He's been exposed to restriction.
No, he hasn't. When he played as a when we saw Aiku originally play as a striker,
Mm-hmm.
right? When he originally played as a striker, he was
Yeah.
given the freedom to play as a striker. And then he was told,
Yeah, but he was restricted because
yeah,
he said he had to play a certain way. He
I'm
had to
I'm
pass
I'm
the
I'm
ball.
getting man, I'm getting there. He's like, you gotta let me finish real quick.
All right,
He
go on.
started he had the freedom of playing as a striker, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
his coaches said, "Start doing this." And then he's like, "This isn't fun for me anymore." And then he
But
ran from that restriction
But
into
that
the
was after a
freedom.
while though. That wasn't straight away because what they showed is that he won trophies with his teams constantly playing in that restrictive environment,
And that's fine, but you need to be able to thrive in that restriction to get the ability. You need
which
to
he
be able
did
to.
because he was still the coach said he can make it as a pro footballer as a striker. The only reason why IQ did wasn't convinced with the answer was because IQ asked, "Can I be the best striker in the world?"
But the thing is, you have okay. Again, the thriving in the
So
restriction thing
he
is still a
so
prominent
fry
thing.
he fried for me. He did thrive in that restriction.
But he couldn't have thrived in the restriction because he wasn't playing how he liked. It wasn't literally. He said he was getting bored. He was not having fun, and it wasn't something enjoyable to him. He wasn't thriving. It wasn't limited. Like when you're going to thriving in the restriction, it's not necessarily just playing well. It's also about what your mind tells you. Kaiser, because
Okay.
he was triggered by malice towards Ness and the manipulation he wanted to, he was able to thrive in the freedom given by Ness because he was manipulating him. He's like, I feel good in this freedom that I'm creating for myself because of the malice I put on someone. Because he thrived in both the freedom and the restriction, he awakened the ability. Aiku
Mm-hmm.
didn't thrive in the restriction. He just existed. And if he did thrive in the restriction, he wouldn't have said, Coach, I'm not having fun anymore. Because even when Kaiser plays in restriction or in freedom, he is still always playing with no hate towards the game.
Yeah.
Like even Kaiser said in the latest chapter official translations, playing with Isagi is so much fun. I dove directly into the freedom that he gave me, and it was so much fun. He was
Mm-hmm.
having fun diving into the restriction, but he was also knowing that he can get better and enjoys playing the sport within the malice and the restrictive state that he gets. Because that's what he got from
Yeah.
his awakening. Aiku can't do
I
that.
I I feel yeah maybe, but that might not be the only condition for it though.
So far, though, that's what we've seen. You can't go off of like
Yes.
there might be another
Yeah.
condition,
I want
but there might not
right,
be.
okay,
And from
here's
what we've seen,
something I
there's
want
no
to
other
state,
condition.
Arrow. Here's something I need to state. Aiku did not switch to defender because he enjoyed that more. He switched to defender because his coach and other adults forced the philosophy of playing for others down his throat to the point where he hated he hated playing for others. He wanted to be very egoistic. He didn't want to become the world's best striker where he had to play for others.
Yeah. I think it's because he knew he couldn't become the world's best striker playing that way.
It,
Because remember,
it's not.
he
It's
wanted.
But it also has to be involved with your ego and
because he
mindset.
didn't want to play with others.
Like right here, I'll read you the exact translations right here. Right? Um for someone else for the team, my coach has always said stuff like that. Coach, I want to be the world's best striker. I want to try scoring goals for myself. Please let me try and play the sort of soccer that I want to. He's asking for the freedom to play how he wants. Intentionally saying he is a freedom-based ego type. No way.
Hmm.
Soccer is a team sport. That's one as a team. That's why there are coaches. You won't be in games if you don't follow the rules. Forcing him into restriction. Okay, got it. They'll only give water to the flowers who bloom. Any flowers outside of their calculations don't get a chance. They even decide where they get to bloom. By the time we realized it, would all become identical forwards. I was no exception to that. Meaning he was forced into restriction. Before I knew it, I forgot
Hmm.
how to bloom, right? And despite him being a decent player, right, he's still saying I was no exception to the restriction forced upon me. Coach, lately I don't enjoy playing anymore. And he talks about, oh, you're starting forward. When you're talking about IQ, you don't score much, but you make a ton of assists. You get a bright future. Becoming a pro is in the dream. And he talks about like he can't be satisfied with a life of just like what Sai was describing before, right? He says, "Can I be the world's best striker?" And he says, "I don't think I can." Literally saying that playing in the restriction crushed his ego. Which restriction,
Hmm.
while it's your environment, does impact your overall ego type,
Hmm.
right? And your play
Yeah.
style and where you play best. The me who believed I could died before I realized it, right?
Yeah.
I'm saturated for someone else, so it's time I put an end to it. Time to put an end to my life as a striker. And then he says, "Coach, I want to be the world's best defender." all those born strikers that you're
Is it?
mass producing, I want to obliterate them as a defender. It is his choice to convert. Sure, he's converting
Hmm.
under the purpose of something else, but he's doing it because
Yeah,
he
no,
continues to do it because he enjoys it, and that's where he finds the freedom. I want to let this flower
I
bloom for my
know
own
it's
sake.
his choice, but I feel like the reason he wanted to, he didn't want to play with others is not because he wanted the freedom to play how he wants.
He
In
says it
my
though,
opinion, that reads
but you
okay.
can't say your
What
opinion
does it
when it
actually
says
say?
differently there.
What chapter? What chapter?
This is chapter 134. But coach, I want to be the world's best striker, so I want to try scoring more goals for myself. Please let me try the sort of soccer that I want to play. And then when he mentions that by the time we realize that we've all become identical flowers, I was no exception to that. Talking about um all the coaches will only give water to the sprouts that are allowed to bloom. Any flowers outside of their calculations don't get a chance to bloom. They even decide where they get to bloom. By the time we realized that we'd all become identical flowers, showing the flowers within the box, creating restriction from growth. I was no exception to that. Before I knew it, I'd even forgotten how to bloom. And then the next thing we see Aiku directly say, Coach, lately I don't enjoy playing anymore. And the coach says, Hey now, what are you talking about, Aiku? You're a starting forward for the team that won the junior high championship. You don't score much, but
Hmm.
you make a ton of assists. You've got a bright future. Becoming a pro isn't a dream. A pro, huh? And Aiku says, A pro, huh? Scrape up some savings, marry a female announcer, and scrape up some happiness. I can't be satisfied with a life
Okay,
like that. He says he can't be happy playing in the way that they want to, playing in the restriction
But
that
that
they
doesn't
give.
mean that being a defender is actually what he wants to do.
But as a
yeah,
defender,
here's the
IQ has
thing.
the freedom to play how he wants.
Yeah,
Yeah, to a
he has
certain
the freedom
extent,
to
but
play how he
he
wants.
wanted to be a
But
striker.
my idea of freedom versus restriction isn't the freedom to play how you want. My idea is how you actually play. Do you get me?
Okay,
Like he
no, I
wants to
don't.
play restricted because he wants to play alone. He
He doesn't
doesn't
want to
want
play
to play
restricted. He doesn't want to play restricted.
as a
He wants to
no, but
play.
does he?
He okay. Restriction. Hey, I'm gonna give you the exact definition of what Isagi described as the restriction. And again, it's Isagi's word, so don't take it 100%. But
Okay,
I think it's chapter 167 after he scored his goal. After Kaiser scored his goal. What Isagi says, um, regardless of what they want or don't want, there like me, there are people who can decide for themselves from multiple options and establish their own formulas. Aiku decided from himself to either stay playing the striker and assisting people, or go to play defender. That was his choice,
Which
right?
which chapter?
People who find it easier to display their abilities in a free environment. That's what they just described as someone who can decide for themselves from multiple options. That's what
Which
Aiku
chapter
did.
was that?
This is 267, sorry. After that, he says, and
267.
then there are people who start in fixed rules and roles, faithfully execute those, and then produce the energy needed to break out of those constraints. People who find it easier to display their abilities in a restrictive environment. Aiku legitimately said he could not do that in a restrictive environment. He was given the rule and the role to assist people. And eventually, he said he could not break out. But by the time I realized that we'd all become identical flowers, I was no exception to that, meaning he cannot thrive in a restrictive environment, which is a
Hmm.
requirement for Predator Eye to awaken, implying
Hmm.
he could not ever awaken Predator Eye by those things.
Yeah, but
is
that does it
right.
implies it in that condition, but maybe there's gonna be a different condition that he can.
That's
But
fine, but you're
obviously,
Yeah, I
assuming
feel
based
we
off
like
of,
don't know that at the moment.
but
Yeah,
you have to go off of information that we currently have. Like people thought
yeah,
Predator
of
Eye
course.
was only used for goal scoring, but we've seen it used in other ways. Right here, we have a full-on definition of what restrictive environment means and how those who thrive in restrictive environments play. When Aihu was put into the restrictive environment, he crumbled.
Hmm.
He said it himself. He became no exception to the identical flowers that the coaches wanted to produce. He could not play his best in the way that he wanted to. So eventually, he chose to break free in his own way by switching entirely. He didn't even break free from the restriction, he just ran from it. The
Hmm.
restriction of being a striker required him to assist people. He didn't want that. So instead, he chose a role that was more free and less tied down. As the defender, he could crush anyone he decided to. He could play in the way he wanted to. He's making the decision to move out of that restrictive environment and create a space for himself in a freedom environment. That's how he awakened Metavision. And we see him doing way better because right after he says, I want to become the best defender, we see nothing negative about his role. We see him stopping 2 players at once while keeping hold of the ball. We see multiple newspapers, birth of a prodigy, the long-awaited large center back Oliver Aiku. The former forward player has succeeded in converting to a defensive player, and he's put on a marvelous performance in a defensive role. We see after, Aiku receives offer from Italy's top league as a defender. U20 generation captain Oliver Aiku. And he shows him as a defender. I won't
Yeah.
play soccer for someone else anymore. I'll let this flower bloom for my own sake. Meaning if someone gives him a restriction, he's not going to play his best. He wants to have options for himself and play how he wants. The idea that
difference
he can
is,
awaken...
I think, can I say something?
Sure.
The coach actively said to him that because the whole point of restrictive is you play by breaking free of the restrictions, right?
I will read it again. There are people who are starting fixed rules and roles, faithfully execute those roles, and then produce the energy needed to break out of those constraints. People who find it easy to display their abilities in a restrictive environment. And
Yes.
examples of those
Find
are
the energy.
people like that are
Find the energy
Kunigami,
to break
Kaiser,
free of
and
the
Green.
restraints. The whole
Yeah.
find the energy to break free of the restraints part is the part I want to focus on. Because
Mhm.
his coach actively tells him that he will not get to play on the team if he doesn't do exactly what he's told. So Aiku basically was never given the chance to actually thrive in a restrictive environment because he never got the chance to rebel against it. He was told that he wouldn't play if he did. And that is why he moved. At least from my interpretation, the reason he moved is because he didn't get the chance to rebel. He didn't get the chance to do that. So his thought process was, well, I can either just play this regimented thing where I can't thrive at all no matter what, because he couldn't rebel at all, or I can play defense where I'm free. I think this is what's happening. Aiku, in my opinion, would be able to thrive in both. The issue is his coach would never have allowed him to thrive because his coach would have never allowed him to rebel against it because his coach actively says that soccer is a team sport that's won as a team. That's why there are coaches. You won't be in games if you can't follow the rules. So if Aiku even tried to rebel, he wouldn't be in the game. That's the issue. He's got to have these rules set for a restrictive environment, but he's also got to be able to break them. He was not in a situation where he could break them, and that is why he switched.
Both are fair points, to be honest.
It's a fair point in
But
terms of the breaking the restriction, but it still shows that he crumbled in a restrictive environment, right? Like, I get the
yeah,
thing of he can't break away or else he can't play for the team. It's still a matter of these are the rules and stuff. If you can't perform your best even then. Like, it's still about, like, performing your best. Displaying your abilities in the best way you can.
Yeah, but
Like,
you've
this...
got to remember, we've actively seen he didn't score much, but he made a ton of assists. He had a bright future. The coach was surefire that he was going to become a pro. He
yeah,
was playing very well in that restrictive environment. The reason he thought his ego had died, though, is because he never got the chance to rebel.
I still
The
think
whole
it's
point
I
wasn't
get
the
your
fact
point, and it's a good point.
it.
I still think there's still that limitation of, like, I feel like here's the thing: if he was given the chance to rebel, I could see him developing in a way that's possible. But I think
hmm
because he's been put in the freedom thing too long, it's too late for him to awaken it. Like, there's so many times where IQ has stated, like, "I'm too late." Like, sure, he was relating to the Blue Lockers, but it's still the statement of "I'm too late, I'm too late, I'm too late" for all this stuff that he's been saying. Like, it's too late for me. I can help encourage other people though. Like,
hmm
if you put Aiku back in that restrictive environment though, he's still gonna crumble, I think.
I
Because, like,
I I
do
disagree
you,
because I think there could be a moment where he gets put back in
so
that restrictive environment. We have a flashback to that moment, and it's sort of like a
but in a
similar
way,
thing
how
to
could he?
Baro's flash
What would the
forward,
result
where he's
be?
the bum on the
What would the
couch.
result be? Can I ask what the result would be? Like,
So,
say
what do
he
you mean?
breaks okay. Let's say he gets put into a restrictive environment again, right? Let's say he does.
Yeah.
What is the result? He's put in the
So
restrictive environment and he can
my
rebel.
idea
What is the thing?
here is my active idea on how the whole like story plot point will go. It will be Aiku put in this restricted environment. He will be doing well, as we know he did previously, but he will not feel like he can exactly do his best. Then you've got the situation where we get a flashback of Aiku to his old self, where he was in the restrictive environment and had no chance to rebel. And I feel like it would be a moment of, this is how my life would have gone if I did rebel. And then we see him, we see a moment of him completely failing in life because he rebelled and his coach never let him play again. However, I think he would realize, but that's not my coach. I've got ego now. And then he would start to rebel against these restrictive conditions he's been put in, which is something Ego would be okay with, Ego would love.
Okay,
And
but
then
what's the result?
because of
Overall
that,
result.
Aiku would start playing better than he has before. He would start surpassing.
What
You've
do you
got to
mean by
remember,
But
one of
so,
would
but,
Aiku's
so he's
what
greatest
would
still
the
on.
plays,
results
But
be?
he's still on defense. But he's still on
one
defense.
of Aiku's greatest plays in the Ubers is when he was given these very restrictive rules to do, these restrictive plays to follow from Snuffy. Snuffy was all about follow the plan, follow the strategy. It didn't result in their win, sure, but one of the greatest plays of the Ubers was when Barrow decided, fuck off Snuffy, and he decided to go all in on rebelling against that restriction. Aiku also rebelled against Snuffy's plans, and Aiku played amazingly in that
But
moment.
in
You've
the
got to
context
remember,
of the thing,
in
it's
this
more.
Uber's
It's okay.
things,
But in the
he
context of
was in.
Ubers, he was in the restriction was more to Botto than anybody. It was more restriction
Yes,
to
but
Botto than
there was
anybody.
there
But
was still restriction on the others, and they
but
still rebelled against
it
the
wasn't
restrictions
really.
Snuffy
It
put them
wasn't
in to do
necessarily
this.
restriction to Botto because like the argument you're making there, the U20 team, right? The U20 team. There's restriction there because they have a set lineup of what they're supposed to do for the Iron Wall Quartet strategy. That's not how that works. When
No,
Botto rebelled, he
no, the
passed to
difference
Aiku
is,
and said, "Follow me." Aiku then was given the choice to follow him or not. The multiple decisions
Yeah, but
that
he's talking
someone
about
being a
Snuffy's
freedom.
tactics.
I get it, but
yeah, no,
Snuffy's
what I'm
tactics
talking
aren't
about
as.
is, I'm
But
talking
Snuffy's
about the
tactics aren't
restrictions.
restrictive to them. It's restrictive to Botto, not the rest of them.
No, no, it is.
It's
Snuffy's
not.
tactics are all about do it like this, do it like that. Snuffy's tactics are literally follow my plan to win. A restrictive environment. And then
We need to do more research
by
on this.
not following his
I do
plan,
think we need a little more definition for this to get an accurate point because I see your point you're
Yeah,
making, but at
I
the
think
same
so
time,
as well.
I
Yeah.
it doesn't get it though because for Aiku, he's given a lot of choices, this or this, right? Like sure, it's a part of
Hmm.
Snuffy's plan, but all his plan is stop the ball, but he can do it in any way he wants to. For Kaiser, the
Yeah.
freedom is like Ness needs to give me anything. Like for the freedom for Kaiser, Ness gives it. I do whatever I want. Kaiser needs specific pressure and conditions. Aiku doesn't want pressure. He doesn't need pressure. Because that's another thing. Another thing is pressure. That's another thing. Is that pressure
Hmm.
created by other people forcing you into a subservient position. Like a position that makes you feel more constrained.
Yeah.
For Aiku, even being in an environment like that, it's still free to him. He still has the decisions to play in the ways that he likes as a defender. So there's not that
and
pressure from Snuffy.
the
While
thing
there
is,
are ideas and plans of how he should act, there's not the restriction of like, wow, there's so much pressure on me of like, I need to do it exactly like this. For Reen, in order to enter his flow state, he needed the pressure. He needed the pressure by Isagi. For Kaiser, he literally states, I
Hmm.
need this pressure. They need
Hmm.
pressure from someone else to force them
am
into a
I
condition where
wrong
they
in
need to rebel.
stating, am I wrong in stating I'm pretty sure there is that pressure to follow Snuffy's plans on Ubers?
I wouldn't
Because I
necessarily
always
say Aiku's
interpreted it as
pressured
a
against it
very,
though, because Aiku's in a spot
I
where he
feel like
loves to
there's
be.
a lot of
Aiku's in a position
pressure
he
on
chose to
following.
be. Aiku's in the position he chose to be, and can do, and with all of his skills, he can play the best way he can. Because remember, Snuffy didn't make his strategies of like these players need to fit my strategies. He made the strategies around the players. He says, I'm going to formulate plans around with everyone in mind. He created a free environment for everyone except for Bado in the sense of you shoot at this moment. You finish off the play in this way and you will win. That's the only restriction was for Bado. Everyone else, the plan was set up of how they can assist Bado. But that wasn't anything that they were against. They had no issue in doing so. Like, Snuffy built his strategies around every single player of what they can do and what they're comfortable in. So because Snuffy had made these plans, it's still within Aiku's decision because it's what he's comfortable in doing. There's no real restriction placed upon him because while there are plans, sure, it's a plan that he himself feels no pressure in completing. That's why the Iron Wall Quartet works well for Aiku. He has no
the Iron
issue.
Wall Quartet is actively something that was Aiku's plan.
No, it's never stated to be Aiku's plan. It's just something that they all do together. Aiku's just the finishing
Yeah,
role.
but we know. I want to clarify. We know that the plan wasn't come up with by the coach, meaning it would have almost 100% been come up with by the captain of the team.
I mean, as far as
That's
I'm
very
aware,
true.
it states nothing that it's come up by Aiku and not come up by the coach because the coach on several occasions emphasizes the Cantonasio style, the tying up your defense and then counterattack. He emphasizes the Iron Wall Quartet defense on numerous occasions. Like, you can speculate all you want, but it's not ever implied or stated that it's Aiku's idea. You can say it's a joint idea, but even then, it's still giving Aiku the freedom. Whether Snuffy created it or not, it still has the idea of Aiku playing in the way that he wants to in mind. Same thing with every other player. I'll pull up the exact chapter because I'm 95% sure it's stated as well. Ubers, I think is like
I'm trying to find the chapter because I've always interpreted it as the
Once
Ubers being a very restrictive environment.
Ubers is only
However,
restricted for
I could
Bado,
have missed
as far as I'm
something.
aware.
I know it's especially restrictive for Baro. But I feel like the others are all
once we
restrictive.
get
It's
Restricted as
once
well.
we get
There we go. Wait,
the
hold on.
chapter up, guys, we're going to have to like start wrapping up.
Yeah, that's fine. Because he says, what's soccer to all of you? My choice, something worth gambling my life on. Like says, I see how much. What if you lose soccer? What will you have left? Only amateur.
What chapter is this?
This is 214. 214. Yeah. Try thinking of this team called Ubers as a company that makes matches business, and you're the employees that keep it running. So he's emphasizing that they're the ones who are implying everything, not Snuffy. Them. Using the data for all the players here, I've concocted game plans, offense, defense, and various situations. These are our tactical patterns. You thought of all of this, yes. Now pound these into your head. If you can execute them, you can win for sure. If any pattern occurs that's not here and we lose, then the responsibility lies with me, the executive. Now, your responsibility as employees. He's literally not forcing everything onto Aiku and giving the pressure of everything like that. He's giving it to, he's saying, you guys just, all you gotta do is do these plans that I've concocted based off of how you like to play. Nico says, these tactics optimally leverage our individual abilities with such a broad scope of patterns. We can win as long as we don't screw them up. If we can survive here, we can absolutely achieve incredible growth.
Yeah. But yeah, I agree that we can only go by what we've seen in the story so far. So in line with the story, the likelihood is he's not gonna get the predator eye. There's still
Kunigami's restriction
possibility.
because he literally had to have his entire ego restricted to fit Noah Noah, to be a copy of Noah Noah. He was
But yeah,
restricted. His entire original ego was restricted, and then with Shidou being there, he had to break away from the restriction of being Noah Noah's copy to avenge his original ego against Shidou, to get revenge against him. That's the restriction, the pressure created by Shidou to break away from the rules of being a Noah Noah copy. Pressure isn't their only requirement, but it's a big requirement.
Can I state something?
You need to be forced into a condition that you are not comfortable with and cannot play your best in, And then 2, you need to have pressure that forces you to evolve in that situation. If you aren't given both of those things, you are not a restrictive type egoist.
Can I quickly just read some stuff?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and
Or
then
chapter.
Using the
Valor
data
can.
for all the players here, I've concocted game plans, offense, defense, and various situations. These are all our tactical plans. Then we've got IQ. You thought of all of this? Yep. Now pound all these plays into your heads. If you can execute them, you can win for sure. So
Yeah,
if
I just
any
read that.
pattern occurs that's not here and we lose, then the responsibility lies with me, the executive. It's not your responsibility as employees. Let's be business-like about this. The immediate description following, he literally says, become the limbs of my tactics, boys. He's restricting them to his tactics.
But he's building the tactics around them. He's not building tactics around strategies of how they can win, and then they have to fit it. That's the rules and the roles part of the
Yeah,
restrictive type. He's making the strategies with them in mind. It's a very neutral environment. It's neutral
yeah. So,
except for Bado, where he says, "Don't shoot
No,
when
he's
you
he's
want to.
making
Shoot when I
but
tell you to."
Lexio,
That's the
so
only
so
restriction.
he's
so
not
Lexio,
making it. No,
it be
he's
the
not making it
equivalent.
about what they want. He's making it about what they are capable of.
He's literally
Yeah,
says,
He's making sure the plans are something they can actually do, not impossible for them. Because he
yeah,
says
but that,
off the player using the data for all the players here, not using the wants and dreams.
but
and even
the
then, but it
equivalent,
because, but if you
the
okay,
equivalent, the equivalent would probably be something like Noah saying, Isagi, you have free roam of the pitch, do what you want. That's an instruction, but it's one that benefits Isagi's ego type.
like, here's the thing. A restrictive environment would be if Snuffy said, "Follow my plans," and he had the plans before he even saw them. That's putting the restriction and pressure into them. But also, because he's saying it's my responsibility if we lose, he's taking away the pressure aspect that's needed. Like, that pressure is the ticker. If you don't have the pressure, it doesn't matter what role you're put into. That pressure created by the restriction is what makes you a restrictive ego type and would allow you to awaken predator eye, right? If you are restrictive type ego, you need to have the pressure created by the role. If you're given a role, that's fine. But unless there's pressure that restricts you from unless there's no pressure to restrict you from breaking away from that role, you are not a restrictive type egoist and you therefore cannot thrive in that restriction. Like, let's go, I think it's 268. It has, with Rain, when he mentions something. I
Yeah,
came
once,
just this is 268. This is Rain just as he enters flow. I came this far just to defeat Isagi. Ever since that day when I lost you, I've dedicated all my time to defeating you in this life, but I still don't feel like I've reached that level yet. The way I was back then, that focus, that murderous intent, those destructive impulses, if I could control those feelings freely, I'm certain that I could beat you and Sai. But at this rate, I'll just lose again. You're growing and changing at a rate faster than me. I don't see a path to victory. My desire for revenge is being killed. My obsession is being destroyed. I'm the one getting messed up. Oh, Isagi, this is it. I wanted this pressure from you. Like, the bigger thing is pressure. It's literally pressure. And if I go to a later chapter, I think it's 273 maybe, where he literally mentions restriction, or when oh, you're the same as you're in the U20 game. No, or you just have something beyond that. No. Yeah. Is there anything prior to this? Maybe I gotta find the chapter where it's stated that he's restricted type. I know it's somewhere. I just can't remember where it's stated. I'm pretty sure it's
yeah,
before he enters flow, right?
yeah, it is before that.
Maybe 270? 270? Oh yeah, here we go. He won't let the ball or his own body stop. He's making a counterattack by pushing his personal skills and passing to their limits. It's pure destruction with no wasted motion. I see. Green was always focused on my movements, and the more the field revolved around me, the easier it became for him to predict everyone's movements. Basically, it means there are limits on what he could do. It's easier for him to use his abilities when he feels hedged in. that means he's a restriction type. So emphasizing pressure over anything. And this is a later chapter, meaning it's more refined now. While there are roles, Izagi says it's easier for them. It's easier when he's talking about him. He's talking about restricted. It's easier for restricted type players to use their abilities when they feel hedged in. Therefore, when they need pressure.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
No,
then he says
you're
he's different from
you're
Kaiser, and unlike Kaiser, whose performance improved once he let go of his fixation on me, fixating on me helps boost Rain's concentration. He's a self-style egoist, and he puts
mm,
him in restriction times self-style.
yeah. So you're right. You're right in
It's
you're
all
right there.
pressure, and if you
You're
can't handle the pressure, or if you're not given any pressure to handle in, you cannot thrive. Like, let's say Aiku's coach never said the thing about you won't be on the team. What pressure is there for him to break free of, though? If it just never said you're
Would
not going to get kicked off the team, there's no pressure from him, though.
no, the pressure is the fact that literally it stated that not only the coach, but most adults, if not all adults in his life, were trying to force this mentality of football is a team game on him. Therefore, he
But what would be his pressure for, like Kaiser? The
the
pressure
pressure would be
is
following the taboo. That would be the pressure.
so
And then he
by
would
following.
realize I don't have to follow the taboo of this is a team sport. I can play for myself and break free.
So if he just so okay, so are you saying he would not play for the team, or he would continue to play for the team?
I would say he wouldn't play for the I would say he would start playing for he
Like,
would break free of the restriction of only pass, don't take your own shot. Because he was actively told he wasn't meant to be taking shots. But he
well, no,
would go for the
he
shots.
still said he can take shots. He just said, like, in the chapter, I'm pretty sure he says you don't score much, implying that he still does score.
Yeah, I
He's just
know.
not.
That's
He's
the
just
thing. He wasn't meant to take many shots is what I'm getting at. He was meant to be more focused on playing it as a team game. His sort of rebellion against that would be starting to play the game to score, to be the world's best.
So if you're saying he would be better if he was still scoring goals by himself. But I think it's because he still got put
Yes,
up into that restriction that
mm,
he still didn't rebel. Because,
he
like,
would
here's
have
the thing:
done that if he was
look
actively
at Botto.
going.
What if Botto was on an actual team, and rather than doing what his coach said, constantly rebel against them? Would he not still get taken off the team? Like,
Barrow would get taken off the team. You are correct.
but Botto is a restrictive type egoist.
Yes. But the reason Barrow is able to that's what I'm saying. The reason Barrow is able to do that is because he's in an environment where he will be allowed to rebel against what the coach says, and he won't just get fucked over by it. Whereas
But even just, I
IQ,
still
if he
think there's no
tried to
pressure.
rebel against what the coach said, he would have just been fucked over by it.
But here's the thing: if the coach never said you won't get taken off the team, if he still tried to rebel, that's still there's still no pressure. The rules is a step one, sure, but it's like a 10% step one. And
No, but
again,
there is
OP,
pressure.
you
There's pressure
OP.
from the world to play how football is meant to be played. Because it's shown that he has pressure from the adults in his life
from Japan.
that
Yeah.
want him, yes, that want
Also,
him to play it like a team sport. And the reason he didn't rebel is because he wouldn't get to play if he did rebel. But even if his coach didn't say you won't get to play if you don't follow the rules, he still has that pressure to follow the rules from the people in his life telling him that's how you're meant to play. And I think he would have broken out of that and still played for himself. That is the point I'm trying to get at.
Okay, guys, I think we're gonna have to wrap it up here.
yeah, we'll call it here.
I don't want to keep you
Yeah.
guys too long. Um, guys in the chat, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, subscribe to Lexio Black Moon, subscribe to Arrow Assassin.
Yeah.
Um, we're here every week, so we'll be back again next week to discuss some more. Quickly, Arrow Lexio, next week, right? we know we're gonna get some Nagi
Yeah.
and Reo in that
Mhm.
chapter. Do you guys think the game's gonna end in that chapter, or
No,
do you guys think it's gonna be drawn out?
I think it's gonna be at least
Yes.
2 chapters.
I think we're
Really?
going.
Yeah.
I think we're going to get the play. We're going to get the goal, and then we're going to get like a little final panel flash of values, but no one's names next to them. We're just going to see a couple of the top values, and
Well,
it's not going to be revealed who's got what value, even though we
if you saw
realistically
the
know Isagi
wait,
wins.
wait, are you saying like next chapter we're gonna see the values?
The actual numbers, yes.
I disagree. At the end of the chapter, it literally shows Nagi. It shows the values, and then it cuts to Nagi and Reo, and at the bottom it says 33 minutes earlier, implying that we're going back 33 minutes earlier. We're not gonna say it's not gonna say 33 minutes
Yeah, I know.
earlier
That's
and
what I'm
then show
saying.
any of the values. Like it's not gonna show the values and then
No,
like do.
I think the values are going to be shown at the end of the chapter after we've seen everything from the 33
But do you
minutes
really think
earlier
they
things.
could explain like what's gonna help Nagi and Ryo evolve in 20 pages, and then still have some to show values? Like the values itself would take up maybe a cage or two,
I don't.
cutting that down to 19 or
No, no,
18
no.
pages.
What
I don't think Nagi could score a goal
what I'm trying to
with the
say,
required build up.
I don't think it's going to fully show what's going to cause them to evolve.
Hmm.
I think it's going to relatively show it, and then I think it's going to be a moment of like that. Seeing the full thing is going to be something we have to wait for episode 90 for.
I doubt it.
But yeah,
I disagree.
I think it's only surviving one chapter. I don't think surviving. I think it's only going on for one chapter this game.
I think it's gonna go for
Yeah.
2 or 3.
Okay. That's a surprise to me because I think that it's also gonna be just the one chapter and then we're gonna get evaluations at the end of the chapter. Um, but I would love for it to be a little bit more drawn out and we get to see a bit more. Um, but yeah, thanks guys for joining me today. Thanks OP for joining us on stream. He said great stream. It was a great stream. Thanks Sky Dragon, Rudy. We had plenty of
Everyone.
guys, regulars in here.
Yeah.
Um, we love the questions as well. Um, gets us talking, so it's brilliant. But yeah, guys, we're gonna end it here. So make sure you, like I said, you subscribe to these guys next to me, Lexio, Black Moon, and Aero Assassin. Subscribe to my channel as well. And yeah, we'll see you again next time. For now,
Drop a like
take
on the
care.
stream.
Yeah, drop a like as well. But for now, take
Thank
care
you.
and God bless, guys.
Yeah.